Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
WGSX Lynn WFLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's begin.
Trip. The Afternoon Underdog Trip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the dragon.
On the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson. Today is Tuesday, and it's a hot one out there in Panama City Beach. We're so thankful that you've joined us today here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can text, you can call on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. As always, on Tuesday, I have my friend with me, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it rained in the early morning and then the blazing heat.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness,
It's been real hot. So after that rain kind of cooled things off a little bit for just a moment, then it come back with the Florida heat and stickiness, as some of the people were telling me, because I'm inside in the air condition, and I love that part about it. How you doing, Bone Crushers? Good to have you with us today, running the ones and the twos.
Hey, doing great.
Now, you're wearing the lifeguard shirt, so you saved anybody today?
Well, there was one guy drowning, but I'm like, dude, I'm not giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on another dude. Sorry, brah.
Yeah, and the fact is that you had to hurry up and get to the show, so there's no reason to wait make us wait here at the show.
I apologize if anybody mistakes me for a real lifeguard.
I don't know if they would or not.
I can swim a little. I'm okay. You know,
Yeah.
I can probably swim enough to save my own life, but that's about
Yeah, it's been tough. There's been a lot of people that have had some problems out there at the beach for sure over the years, but you know, it's always good to maybe go take a lesson if you're going to go on vacation or something and you don't swim very well and you decide, hey, let's go out and swim in the ocean, and I'm not very good at swimming.
Quick tip, you know, those $1, $2 little floaties, pool noodles, that could save your life out there in the rip current. Take something with you like that.
Yeah, especially if you can't swim that good. That's
if you're an Olympic swimmer, a riptide can still crush you.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've been crashed on before by a wave or two, and then like last week, Jeff, you were talking about you were swimming out there and you got kind of taken away a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
I was
pretty
over
rough.
by I don't want to plug any places or whatever. So where Thomas kind of makes his turn and turns into Navy Boulevard, you know, going towards here.
Yeah,
over in that area. Public access number 1.
Yeah.
And that's where it grabbed me. But 90% of the time when I get in the water, I either have a paddle board or a boogie board.
Oh, okay.
And I buy the boogie boards. When you buy the basic one, like not much Winn-Dixie anymore. They don't have many of them out there anymore. But like Publix and other places, you buy the standard one, and they're not rated for my weight. They're weighted for like a little kid, basically.
So it's like you're riding around on top of a styrofoam cup. For the most part.
And you know, I broke a couple of them in half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I buy the bigger one that's more sturdy and everything, and it's like rated for, I don't know, like 200 or 225 pounds. So things good, but that's a lifesaver. That or the paddle board.
Yeah, the paddle board's good. Like Bone Crusher said, the pool noodle is real good. So we didn't get to talk to you yesterday, Jeff. Did you do anything over the weekend? Did you have any fun? Did you do anything Friday night, Saturday, Sunday? Did you anything fun?
Yeah, I went to first time ever. I've never been to speed dating.
Whoa, speed dating.
I went to speed dating, and
hold on. So you sit in front of a person that you don't know, right? So everybody gathers together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I think I watched a television show one time and somebody was
Probably.
speed dating,
Yeah.
and so is there a buzzer?
Oh, heck no. Eject button.
Do you hit
She's
like a
out.
bell?
I'm out. I'm helping me get out. Yeah.
So is it like, okay, so a bunch of people get together,
Yeah,
y'all just
yeah.
like come to like a meeting hall or some kind of meeting place?
We started at one bar, and this was a sort of bar crawl / speed dating.
Okay.
So we started at one bar, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at this one bar because I always thought it looked like really small when I drive by. Anyway, we started there. People were chit-chatting and talking, and I'm talking to Caveman Rick.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I
Caveman
remember
Rick
him.
was there, not outing him, but
Yeah.
he's a single guy.
Yeah.
I hope. If he ain't, he is now. But anyway, we chit chatted and everything, and I couldn't believe like the camaraderie me and Caveman Rick had. And so then we walked a couple blocks to another bar, and then boom, they sat us all down, girls on one side, guys on the other, and then we had just a couple of minutes, like 3 minutes, to talk to a girl. And then the guys would get up and we'd move one seat over. And so then we just kind of go from person to person and everything and get to know somebody. It's not enough time. But to be honest with you, if you've dated enough, I think you kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't take long to really know.
Yeah.
And then other times, you have to go on a bunch of dates really to figure out, whether you fit or match.
Yeah, so now we can start calling you, instead of LSU Jeff, we can call you the Afternoon Underdog local bachelor of the show.
No.
Single and ready to mingle. So then you move seat to seat.
Yeah.
And then so do you exchange numbers at that point?
See,
or
that's
how do you
the funny part. Somebody mentioned something last night in like a group message thing that like they got numbers from girls.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I joked, and I said, "Wait, we were supposed to get numbers?" Because I got 0 numbers from that night.
Oh man!
And it wasn't that I didn't want numbers; it's just that I don't know. I was just kind of like easy and chill. And what it is this is like a dating group.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a meetup group is what it is, and people are friends and all that. And I just wasn't being like super aggressive about it or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of starting to get to know people. Really.
Right. Because how long have you been here? How long have you been in the area?
Less than 2 years.
Yeah.
And so going into that group, I know 2 people in that group, and one of them didn't show up, and the other one is Caveman Rick.
Okay.
So it was kind of So it was interesting, and some people would drink. Drinking pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there was a time where I got to work the next morning.
Right. Right.
So then I said, okay, I'm going home, and they were going to another establishment, another bar that does not advertise here.
There you go.
But if they do, we will be naming them.
We'll
for
name
sure.
them next time for sure.
We will for sure. And apparently that's where maybe more shenanigans started to happen. Was because they're drinking more. It's later on in the night and all that.
Yeah. So is this like a every week kind of thing, or do they do this weekly, or is it like this is a special thing?
No, the speed dating. I guess it's there'll be four weeks between that one and the next one.
So is there somebody on like a microphone, or is there somebody that says switch?
Well, there is a girl who is the
like the host,
the leader host. Yeah.
Okay.
And nothing against the girl. She's pretty. She's really pretty.
Right.
But she's like, I'm 34, and I'm like, I'm 52.
Yeah.
You're closer to my daughter's age than my age, and that's not gonna be a thing.
A thing for you. Yeah.
It's
I
not gonna be a
understand.
thing. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever in the past, because you're obviously married,
Right.
You talk to somebody and you're like, man, if you were just born like 10 years earlier or 10 years later and all that, there's a possibility of something between 2 people, but sometimes this
Yeah.
there's an age difference,
And then 3 minutes is really hard to really talk to somebody and know.
some of them it took like 5 seconds.
You already done it.
I mean, not. I'm not, knocking it. It's just that you have a person that's for you. Like, there's things that build your wife to be that person for you.
Yeah.
And some people like people who are like them, and then some people don't like, they don't like people who are completely different.
Yeah. So like, the Afternoon Underdogs, we're going to have like a dating segment now, and you're going to be over it going forward.
If you want to date Jeff, call her now.
Yeah, 850-215-6290. The Afternoon Underdog local bachelor, Jeff.
We were joking about this earlier because you're Bama, and I'm wearing my LSU shirt.
Got the
today,
LSU.
right?
I have the Tiger on today,
and I made a joke about a certain fan base and all that, and it's like I almost want to say I have no standards. I'll even maybe date an Alabama girl. I'm just joking. Though.
Yeah,
look, I'm not toxic like that. I actually don't really, I don't say I won't date this person because, they're a crazy Alabama person.
Yeah, I think every show that we've had, you've called another fan base toxic, and it still blows my mind because most LSU fans are so toxic. They've been the worst fans except for Ohio State fans I've ever been around in my entire life.
So tomorrow we'll talk about that because we're going to have a third person in the room.
Yeah, we'll have a third person in the room.
And we'll talk about a little bit about toxic fan bases because it's humorous. And I saw another podcast. I was telling you a little bit. This other podcast was talking about, and let me tell you, the comments were crazy on just they were piling up on one fan base, and it wasn't SEC either.
That's crazy.
And I was like, wow, look at all these people. I said, I think the same thing about that fan base, and here are all these other people who are just confirming what I think about them.
Yeah, well, if you look at the fan bases, it's usually the people that, from what I've gathered the whole time, the ones that don't really know the sport, they just love the team and are unrealistic in their expectations. It's just like, and it's a lot of times it can be your big fan bases because, like, say for example, when I was in Kentucky, there would be the fans in Kentucky would believe that UK was going to have the best season ever, and they didn't even know, watching them play, how bad they were looking, how that, they didn't have the team that was going to do anything, and then they were like, oh, they're going to win it. They're, they do their, the 68 team bracket, and they'd have Kentucky winning it no matter what. And it's are you really going to put $20 in this pot thinking Kentucky's going to win? And they're like, barely the fifth or sixth best team in the SEC that year, and it's just like, oh yeah, they're going to win. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And then if you try to tell them, well, they're this is wrong, and their star players hurt, and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. And it's just like
in people's bracket, like in the NCAA basketball tournament, that their people's bracket. They believe in it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like,
oh yeah.
They're like almost convincing me that Auburn's going to win. Basketball title And I mean, they had a great run.
They had a great run. They just ran out of gas. And
well, it's not that they ran out of gas. It's Florida, man.
They were just peaking at the right time. Yeah, they did it they were just the best team out there. Yeah. They just really were.
And here's another thing that's insight about toxic fan bases is that sometimes success, winning a championship, doesn't matter if it's one or two, it feeds into people's heads. And if you remember back, Notre Dame used to get a little toxic.
Oh, yeah.
And the Miami Hurricanes, people hated the Miami Hurricanes for a good spell there because they just were all caught up in their winningness, and then they were just demeaning to other fan bases.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes Alabama people, they were disliking the Georgia people, not just because of the bark, because they bark, but they just... I don't know. They just conflicted with them. Where LSU doesn't really get that Georgia thing. And so we think the Georgia people are cool and nice and everything, And yet Alabama sees a different side of the Georgia people, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and it's that as you could say, they took our old defensive coordinator, Kirby Smart. Everybody, for the most part, likes Kirby, but hates that he's in Georgia, even though he played there, it's from there. That's his home school. So, I mean, why wouldn't he stay there, or why wouldn't he go there? It's most of the time. It's just like Dabo, he went to Alabama, and he's at Clemson. And so a lot of Alabama fans hate Dabo Swinney because of that. And, I mean, now he does come into Alabama and recruit heavy. I mean, he recruits heavy in Alabama, and that's something that aggravates me to the end. You look and see your best players in your state, and they're going to Clemson. Why would you want to go to South Carolina? It's ugly over there. There's nothing to do, but, and that orange is just ugly. But inverse,
the shoe's on the other foot. Nick Saban was at LSU first, and where does he heavily recruit? you can't believe the amount of recruits he gets out of Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Devonta Smith is a Heisman Trophy winner from, I think it's from either Hammond or right outside of Hammond, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean, there was tons of people. I mean, he went into Louisiana to try and get, Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. He ended up going to Mississippi State.
Yep.
But Saban was like big on him when he first got to, I guess he was already at Alabama for a few years before he was trying to recruit him.
Yeah, well, if you look at it, like for me, Devonta Smith is probably my favorite wide receiver from Alabama. I loved him.
Well, not from Alabama.
I'm saying that went to Alabama. Yeah,
went to Alabama.
And, him and Julio are right there together.
Judy.
Yep, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them. Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle.
I mean, we're looking at all these guys.
Yeah, and Jalen Waddle came from Texas, so he's from Texas, and
that's right.
so
he was a portal. He's a transfer.
No, he's straight up. He came to Alabama. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because he was so small, and everybody's like, "Man, he's small, but man, he's so good."
Smith is not very big either.
No,
he's shorter.
He's not as he's more lean than he is. Like Jalen Waddle's like short, like almost Steve Smith
and
short.
And the craziness is that me being a Dolphins fan.
Yep,
Waddle
and Tyreek Hill being there,
Tyreek
like
Hill,
they're both like 5'7".
Saban coach there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's funny how all the circles and all that, and we talked about it before. I don't think I really answered the question last week about. You said, how do we feel? How does LSU people feel when their players go to the pros? And it's like it creates Bengal fans, Commander fans because of Jaden Daniels and DeBarrow.
Yeah,
sometimes people follow that. I mean, they might be a Saints fan, but they'll say, "Oh, the Bengals are my number 2."
Yeah, and that's how I feel about it. And for a while there, and this is going to sound really cocky, but man, I had to like every team because it seemed like every year Alabama was just on every team. And honestly, if you want to know the truth, when I would watch an NFL game, I would be sitting there and I'd see somebody and they would go to start their introduction or whatever, like Alabama. There he is. He played Alabama, and so like it would just about be every single team that was out there. I think there might have been 2 teams in the whole NFL that didn't have an Alabama player on their roster.
And the crazy scenario is like perfect examples of the Philadelphia Eagles. They kept on drafting these Georgia defensive guys, and then they would have like a couple of Alabama guys in there. And it's just so funny to watch them kind of converse when they're in the pros because they're still Alabama and Georgia guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do have that,
Yeah, and this year's draft, the Eagles grabbed Jahad Campbell from Alabama, the linebacker. So, I mean, here you go again. That's been their success. That's been their way, is just to grab these Alabama players, these Georgia players, and get them intermingled and letting them play together. And then the fan bases, because real hatred is in the college football fan bases. Not to say that the NFL doesn't have them, but the rivalries, if you go and look, like with Michigan and Ohio State, with Alabama and Auburn, those type of rivalries, Florida State, they hate each other. They don't have anything good to say about each other. They might, it's just like what's going on with Florida with their quarterback 2 weeks ago or a week ago. He was in a walking boot and everybody's like calling him glass. He's glass. He's made of glass, and it's just like the kid's great, but like the fan bases are so toxic with each other. But isn't that what makes football better? Isn't that what makes it? I'm not talking about where you're spitting on each other, throwing batteries at each other, throwing
pushing grandmas.
You saved that one. Yeah. So, but when you have those fan bases that are just so like hype and ready and exciting, and which this show is built on that. This show is an opinionated show, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have people come on, and we're going to have people that are going to agree and going to disagree, but that's what makes it all beautiful.
So being in Louisiana, you see the Texas and Texas A&M thing. Mm-hmm. Of course, the Alabama and Auburn is on another level.
Yeah.
But you don't really see the Florida State thing outside of the state, really.
Right.
You don't really see the toxicity.
They don't bring it
till you move here.
Yeah, till
and
you
then
move
you're like, oh wow, y'all are got a little hatred going on here.
Yeah.
And I already knew about Florida State and Miami because they're in the same conference.
Right.
And it goes back to the early '90s.
Yeah, and then you think about when Notre Dame was playing Miami, where you had the Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah.
So that's being another deal.
I love these rivalries, and when they stop, it's sad.
It is sad. Yeah.
And I mean, people forget that there was a Pitt versus Penn State.
Yeah.
That used to be a rivalry, and it's totally forgotten now because they never play each other.
And the thing is I believe the ones that aren't in the same conference,
Yep.
they're the ones that really have the problem, continuing because of that.
It's that, plus sometimes it gets a little lopsided, like LSU beating Tulane every year.
Yeah, that's not a.
It's
that's not very good.
like Tulane, they'd be lucky sometimes to get 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
2 in a decade. Yeah. And then, but we kind of liked it growing up. We kind of liked that whole Tulane. So when it's gone, we're kind of like, oh man.
Yeah.
They don't play the.
Well, and that's
Tulane
where
anymore.
the Alabama LSU kind of rivalry with,
gets
how
heightened.
it gets heightened up because, you have to because they're in your conference. They're going to play them every year. They're going to play them at the same time. It's like Alabama and Tennessee. They're going to play each other at the same time every year.
That's coming to a close next year.
Right. I know. And that's what stinks.
Unless they go to the 9-game schedule, which I'm not for. And apparently most of the SEC is not for it, but Missouri is way for it.
Oh, yeah, but I think they'll do something close to that because I don't know how they're going to just keep – the SEC is just going to keep being a bloodbath during the season, and then you're going to, unless they break it out to 32 teams or 25 teams in the playoff, then you're talking about the maximum number of games you can play in a season and all that kind of stuff. And with all this money, it'll be interesting how those rivalries stay or go, or maybe more rivalries, ignite, so to speak, because they're going to be in the same side, or they're going to be, signing the contracts to play each other every year.
So if they stick with the 8-game schedule and we don't go to the nine SEC games next year, we're talking about Alabama and Tennessee gone. Mm-hmm. Auburn and Georgia is the oldest rivalry in the South.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Gone, yeah.
And from an LSU point of view, Ole Miss, gone.
Yeah.
Alabama, gone. Florida, gone.
Yeah,
there's tons.
It's not good. And like when you look at schedules this year, even how the schedules are lined up, that's basically what your season is going to be. Because if you were Florida having Missouri's schedule, or opposite, if you're Missouri having Florida's schedule, Missouri might only win 2 games if they play with Florida. But then with their schedule that they have at Missouri, they're probably going to win 6-7 ball games possibly because it's weaker schedule. And that's where, you just every year you have something that you can look at, and then it's like, oh, they're going to be really good. Yeah, but did you see their schedule? Oh, they're coming. They're a team that's up and coming. That's good, but their schedule is so tough this year. They got to play Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee all back to back to back, and they have one bye week that they have to put it in between all of those. And then you're talking about getting hammered here, losing your star players here, and then the next week it doesn't get any easier. And so, that's something that they'll probably have to figure out. They don't have all the answers. They're just like we are. They don't know. But they need to somehow keep it to where the fan bases, because there's revenue built into those rivalries as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
TV rights
people
and
go, people want to see that, so they'll pay the ticket pricing because of how much of a rivalry it is, even if it doesn't have playoff indications at all, implications.
I think Missouri last year and this year are kind of getting a little bit more of a soft schedule, but the next 2 years they're going to get hammered.
Yeah, they'll get it back.
And then Texas is probably the softest of them all, because after Texas A&M, all they got is Georgia.
Yeah.
They're not playing anybody else. Nobody. So the next 2 years, Texas got their hands full.
Yeah.
And LSU is probably one of the most balanced schedules between these last 2 years and the next 2 years, because, playing Florida, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss, we're replacing it with Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's very balanced.
Yeah.
So that we're going to have consistency, where Texas is going to be like good for 2 years, and then I'm not saying that, I'm going to go and say it. They're going to drop off.
Yeah.
And if Arch Manning leaves after this year, which I don't think is going to happen, I think he's going to be there next year. Will be his last year.
It'll really depend on the money. It'll depend on if they start reeling all this money in and figuring out a way to do it. If they do a salary cap, if they do some type of NIL cap so to speak. Then you'll have the parity starting to come back instead of having your blue bloods still being your champions, and so that's the biggest part of it all, is that the SEC having so many good teams, just because, later on in the show we'll talk about some of those that were in the coaches poll, but like just to have that many good teams in one conference, and then they have to play each other. They just beat each other up all year, and then, their players get hurt, or, they get found out, so to speak, with stuff that they do that didn't work against this team but works against everybody else type deal. And that's where the other conferences, they've been fresh and they've been able to watch what they do, because, when Alabama and, say, Georgia plays each other, everybody in the country's watching it, because usually those two teams are great teams. And then the fact is that, okay, well, this worked and this didn't work, or this worked and this did work. And so what they do is, it's just like, because Alabama's there, if they play them early in the year, they're going to show pretty much almost all of the stuff that they have, as well as Georgia, because they want to win that game, because that was that's that tipping point game. That's that game that they need to win to be able to secure their spot in the SEC championship, or to secure their spot and to keep the place rolling, so nobody's like, oh no, what are we going to do? It's just like that game last year when Alabama beat Georgia. That was that was a big deal. It was like, oh no, Georgia's going to, what's going to happen now? Kalen DeBauer beats Georgia this first year. Oh no, what's going to happen? End up being the Gus Malzahn effect. Beats Georgia but doesn't doesn't win.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But still, when you look at all of this, it really pulls you back. We want rivalries, because that's what we love to do. We love to get chippy with the other fan bases, and we want it to happen. And so they'll figure it out.
Nobody had, there probably was a team that had more of a roller coaster season than Alabama last year, but there's not many.
Not many.
Because the beating of Georgia and the beating of LSU, and then you lose to Oklahoma and Vandy.
Yeah.
It was like,
really
what
bad.
happened? What just happened? you
Yeah.
know? It's disbelief. But losing to Tennessee hurts because, it's Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Chop Chat, Taylor Devers, Florida State, Florida, Miami, all things of Florida. So when we get back, we're going to be doing that. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the day, variety of some sun and a likelihood of thunderstorms, and 85 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest around 9 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies and possible thunderstorms and a low near 80. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and sprinkles and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Summer's not over yet at 7 Summers Patio, Panama City Beach's newest destination for outdoor living. Discover stylish, durable outdoor furniture at unbeatable prices. From loungers to dining sets, we've got everything to make your patio the place to be. It's 7 Summers Patio, 17833 Panama City Beach Parkway, Suite 104. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Hurry in and cash in on our end of summer savings. Only at 7 Summers Patio. Turn your backyard into paradise.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Punch out towards third. Backhanded and fouled around by Riley. Long throw. Oh! What a play by Riley.
Tonight, don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball from Truist Park as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Braves, pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. Beyond the score. Beyond the headlines.
Double play.
Our coverage goes deep.
Highway robbery.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson. We are here on your FM dial, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can call in. You can text 850-215-6290. And it is about that time. It's Tuesday, about 4:30, and we are joined with Chop Chat's very own Taylor Devers. How are you doing, Taylor?
Doing good. How about you?
Oh, man, we're here. We're good. Our local bachelor, single, man of the hour, Jeff, is in the house with us, too.
That's crazy.
I don't know if you've been listening, but Jeff did him some speed dating over the weekend. We had talked about that before you came on, Taylor. We won't get you super excited about all the stuff going on down here in Panama City Beach, but just wanted to let you know about that before we get started. How's your weekend go this past weekend?
Man, it was great, man. We got some exciting news coming up for Florida State football, and I can't wait.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I want to hear it because, you know, they're going to be playing my Crimson Tide here very soon. So give us the lowdown of what's going on with those Seminoles down there in Tallahassee.
Yeah, well, they got a fall camp scrimmage tonight, kind of a late night, 7 o'clock. They'll probably get done around the 9 p.m. Central Time area. They're playing in Doak Campbell Stadium tonight. I know a lot of fans are kind of upset about the renovations, but they are about 90% complete so far with the chairbacks. So I know some fans are kind of like, I don't want to lose my seat, and we're going to have this and that and other. But Florida State is going to have their scrimmage tonight, and, man, it's going to be a very, very exciting time.
Now, is that open to the public? Are they going to be
It is actually not. They are kind of strict down a little bit more with the media access. Last season, some media members, and most notably, your legendary head coach Nick Saban actually had Florida State as these high expectations with the best defensive line in the country, and just some other bold claims that didn't really pan out the way they thought it would. Gus Malzahn is kind of an old-school coach where he doesn't really like to have a lot of media access, so Mike Norvell's kind of taking that leadership approach from him, letting that 2-10 record kind of sway over into more of a no-nonsense type of thing now.
Yeah, last year's season being terrible. Real quick, as a side note, on Thursday we had discussed DJ Ungalale. I don't know if you got to catch him, but he was the second quarterback that came in for the Los Angeles Chargers. Went 2 for 3 with 25 yards. I don't know if you got to check him out, but DJ's battling to be that number 4 guy up there. Probably not looking very good with the Chargers because they already have 2 guys ahead of him at this point.
Yeah, a lot of respect for that kid. I love his family. I think they have a really, really good attitude about everything. His brother actually plays over at Oregon. He's going to be a tremendous player. Just overall, though, I think DJ's was a very good representation of what Florida State was, but unfortunately it just didn't play out on the field. And you're seeing it now with his NFL dream. You're hoping he kind of gets to the top in terms of that and at least becomes the capable backup in the league. But I'm definitely pulling for him as he goes to his NFL career.
Yeah, some of the people that I spoke to about DJ was not as positive as you, so I'll take that from you because they don't really know. All they saw was the product that was on the field, which was horrible, obviously. But, you know, knowing that he's got a good family base, that's still good. And yes, I did know about his brother from what I've read about him. He's a stud up there in Oregon and probably going to see the field some this year.
Yeah, most definitely. I think a lot of times with last season, you saw where the staff had to kind of choose between DJ and Cam Ward. Cam Ward went to the NFL, kind of backed out of his NFL declaration for the NFL draft. And then you saw him go to Miami. Well, Florida State already got a commitment from DJ at that point. Didn't really have him in the table at that point, and then just kind of spiraled out of control a little bit. Didn't really go the way Florida State fans really wanted, but no hard feelings. I think DJ is going to be a tremendous human being in society if he decides to play through football or he decides to go in the workforce or anything like that.
Yeah, well, he made a lot of money, so he does have some money that he can fall back on and do whatever he'd like. Also, I heard that Jordan Travis is going to be down in Tallahassee to watch the Alabama-Florida State game, and I know the fans are going to love seeing him. He was a fan favorite for sure, especially because of the year that he had, the year that the Seminoles were undefeated until they met Georgia that year.
Yeah, the North Alabama game in 2023 was kind of a somber moment for Florida State fans because you had senior night that night. Jordan Travis, unfortunately, had a lower leg injury that basically ended his career at Florida State and also the NFL. So pulling for that kid, I know that he's going to do tremendous things, whether he becomes an assistant coach at Florida State or whether he does some other things off the field. Just an incredible kid. His brother played baseball at Florida State. He's Florida State through and through. He's what Florida State fans really want to have in their former players and also in their current players when he was a player here. But just very excited to see him back in Tallahassee and hope they have him on the video board soon.
We're talking with Taylor Devers here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, Taylor, you said you had some exciting news. Tell me some exciting news going on with Florida State football right now, right before they get ready to start really getting into game preparation for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, so the biggest news I got from a couple of press conferences and especially some of the media members that have had some insight there was the offensive line is really gelling well together. As some people know, the offensive line at Florida State has not done well over the last couple of years. Been a very, very disappointing unit. But now Florida State's got guys like Luke Pettibon. He's the basically the Wake Forest center transfer that Florida State really likes. Started over 35 games in his career. Has been a guy that Florida State really likes in that offensive line. You got a guy like Micah Pettis, 6'8", 350 pounds on the right tackle position. He's going to be somebody that's going to be able to block for Thomas Castellanos and kind of making his dreams come true. You know, you got the Vandy transfer. Gunnar Hansen had that huge performance against the Alabama Crimson Tide last year in their huge win. But I think this offensive line is going to be very big. Some of the receivers are very stepping up as well, like Jaden Boggs. He's a true freshman receiver. Elijah Moore, Deuce Robinson from USC. Also, Tennessee transfer, Squirrel White. I think there's going to be a couple guys there that Florida State really likes in this rotation. And this offense is going to be very special from what it seems.
That's the question that I was going to ask you. What is the offensive team looking like with the new offensive coordinator with Gus Malzahn coming from UCF? Because he likes those mobile quarterbacks. He likes the guys that can get outside the pocket. He likes the guys that can make plays with their feet. And, you know, I mean, this quarterback seems like he's going to be that type of guy. And, you know, there is one question about him that I wanted to know. Do you have his measurements? How big is he? Because he looks like he doesn't look very big on film, but you know sometimes when you're offensive tackle 6'8", 330 pounds, everybody looks small.
Yeah, he's actually 5'9", so he's not that big. Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely is not as big as it is. I think his program weight, I think at Boston College was like 5'10", but yeah, he is like 5'9". So. It's not ideal that you won't, but I don't think he's going to have to make a ton of passes going across the middle in like crossing route situations or big slants. I think you're going to see more of like either like curl route or go routes whenever the defense is kind of sucking into the run protection at that point. You're going to have a lot of side-to-side bubble screens and RPOs. So I don't really think the height is going to scare a lot of people, but it could if they get down kind of early. You know, that's one thing that I worry about Gus Malzahn is he's a great run technician in his offenses, but if he gets down 14-0 to Alabama, what is he going to do to kind of step between that and being aggressive in his rushing attack? Is he going to stick with it, or is it going to be more of a passing attack and he's going to have to play from behind? Not an ideal situation for Florida State there.
Yeah, and see, that's where, for me, watching some of the things and kind of, checking them out online, I'm seeing that, the old school of controlling the clock, running the ball well, the Gus Malzahn way, getting him, like I said, outside the pocket and doing some things with his legs. If you do get down, that offense is really not built to come from behind. Obviously, you don't ever want to be behind, and I know they say that a lot, but technically, you're not going to see this guy throw 30 to 40 passes in a game for the most part, especially with Malzahn, because I don't know if he can really stick his foot in the ground and really have lasers over across the field. I mean, I know that they've talked about some of those guys that you mentioned about being good at wide receiver, but let's don't make no mistake. Gus Malzahn, his team, his philosophy is going to be run first and then make other stuff happen.
I did want to ask you guys both a question, because I know you had mentioned earlier in the last time I came on about Earl Little Jr. being a guy that comes from Alabama, is a guy that they're very excited about. Florida State's defense is going to be tremendous this season, as it looks with Tony White's new multiple 3-3-5 defense. But you got a guy like Roydell Williams, who's a running back who used to be at Alabama, had about 560 yards in his last season at Alabama, and he didn't really play much at Florida State. He got hurt after the fourth game, was able to get a medical red shirt, and now he's back in the rotation. Why didn't he transfer out? You brought a guy in like Usman Kroma, who is a former four-star recruit who Georgia went after heavily, and then you got a guy like Gavin Sawchuk, who is an Oklahoma transfer that had 900 yards the year before. So, with him being a veteran like that, do you think he plays more of a role in this Alabama game to kind of get that revenge for the program, or do you think it's more so just a veteran piece with leadership?
I believe the second of the two. I believe that the comfortability and understanding that they're going to be a run-heavy offense, and that his number probably is going to get called, because you know how it goes. You're going to have a running back that's going to get nicked up. They're going to have trouble. They're going to have a toe injury or a hammy or something that's going to get tight, or some bruising or something like that. So I just believe that that's probably what he did. He probably liked what Norvell did, probably not getting as many carries as he thought, then having these new guys come in. He's probably just going to be one of those guys, because that's what he did basically at Alabama. He just waited his turn. He even played a lot of special teams at Alabama, which obviously for Nick Saban, that's something that he almost requires his running backs to do. But Roydell Williams is one of those kind of guys, and I do believe he'll probably provide some leadership, and he does want to beat Alabama. Don't get it twisted. Earl and Roydell, they do want to beat Alabama and, make their mark on that game, because, anytime you play your former team, that's always the case.
Yeah, the one thing I kind of wonder about, though, too, is before we were able to get Gavin Sawchuk as well as Usman Kroma, both of those guys were kind of pickups after the fact, and Roydell was kind of a running back one in that system before. So Malzahn really trusted him in the spring before both of those guys got to come in, and I really just wonder what's going to happen with that, because if you think about it, if Sawchuk and Kroma are the two guys that are coming in during the summer, they don't really have that much time of preparation, but you see a guy like Roydell Williams, who has been able to contribute this spring, knows the offense, has kind of got that relationship down with the offensive line and everything like that. Then you turn around and you think about Malzahn. He had R.J. Harvey last year at UCF, who was very productive, got drafted by the Denver Broncos, was a guy that was a veteran back that he really liked. I just wonder if Roydell is going to take over that leadership role in that and be able to kind of be that guy he trusts early on while those two guys are kind of getting prepared and kind of getting to the back half of the season. I think it could be a useful weapon for them.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe he'll be one of those guys, and I believe he'll get some touches in the Alabama game, and obviously he's going to try to make the most of it. Hopefully Alabama shuts all that business down. But we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about that, and then we've got a lot more college football to discuss. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone Service.
The Red 70 studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the day, variety of some sun and a likelihood of thunderstorms, and 85 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest around 9 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies and possible thunderstorms and a low near 80. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and sprinkles and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorrento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking with Taylor Devers, Chop Chat, down in Florida, in Tallahassee. Now, Taylor, I'm having to sit across from what some people call LSU Jeff. I call him the Bachelor of the Year, Jeff, right now. But Jeff's sitting here wearing an LSU shirt with the Eye of the Tiger on it with the LSU script underneath it. Are you wearing a Florida State shirt right now?
I am.
So you're wearing a Florida State. Bachelor Jeff is wearing the LSU shirt, and I'm wearing a polo shirt from Ralph Lauren. So I guess I'm not a big enough fan for the fan bases. So we've been talking about before you came on that somehow the fans can be toxic, and we know all about that. Everybody has their side of toxicity of their fan base. So we were discussing that before you came on. Is Florida State's fan base as a whole, would you say 10%, 20%, 30% toxic down there in Tallahassee?
If you go on Twitter right now, it's pretty rough.
Okay. Let's start off by saying one thing about the LSU-Florida State thing, okay? I went to LSU in the early 90s, and we would open up with Florida State, I don't know, might have been 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And they had our number. We had bad teams back then, and then recently when we played in Orlando and New Orleans, we lost again. Florida State is one of those teams that just has LSU's number.
Yeah.
I don't hate Florida State. What I don't enjoy, though, is the Seminole chant nonstop for like 45 minutes straight. I mean, it gets on your nerves over time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I will say the Seminole fans, they don't seem toxic to me. But if you talk to any Gator fans, they'll probably, disagree. But what I was talking to Paul about earlier is that you'll have these fan bases. Like Tennessee is a perfect example. They are the nicest people when you meet them. Oh, they're so nice. But then you go online, especially Twitter, and they are the most toxic, trash-talking, just hatred fan base you'll ever see. And, you're saying that Florida State online, it's like a different beast, right, when you see them online? I mean, they talk trash.
Yeah, it is quite rough.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe it's a Southern thing, like we're always going to be nice to somebody when they're standing right in front of us. But then you get online, it's like they feel like there's a security where they could just say bad things to somebody and somehow there's no repercussions, or their niceness just washes off.
Yeah, there's a name for that, but I can't think of it I can't think of it right now. But that's how the society has been changed over because of social media. When you start hearing all of the people, telling them what they'll do and all of that kind of stuff. And so realistically, Taylor, do you believe that there's toxic fans everywhere, but what would you say, you being a Florida State fan, what fan base do most Florida State fans just despise?
Probably Miami, because they haven't done anything in the last 20 years.
That is so true. I mean, before you even said it, I was like, yeah, it's going to be Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you can I know that there's a little bit of a rivalry between Florida State and Florida, but I believe that, for both teams, I think Florida, the Gators, if you're a Gator fan and you hate, Miami fans, text in, call in, reply on Facebook, let us know what you think really about the Hurricanes. So now that we're back and we're going to start talking a little bit more about Florida State, you talked about Little and you talked about some of the freshman wide receivers that you had, and you talked about the offensive line. Well, what does the Florida State Seminoles look like on the defensive front? Are they, are they going to be able to rush the quarterback without blitzing, or are they going to be more of a blitzing the linebackers type deal? Are they going to walk the safety up and have him do some blitz packages? What type of defense this year is Florida State? Because they got a new coordinator, and obviously they worked the portal really well. So basically, this is a brand new team. Nobody's got any film on them. They don't, people don't really know what they're going to do necessarily. They know what the coaches have done in the past. But what style of defense are they going to be playing down there in Tallahassee?
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a multiple 3-3-5 defense. They're very physical. I think they brought in a guy like James White. And James White from Nebraska last year had about 6 sacks on kind of a limited role. But I just wonder what Florida State's going to do in terms of rushing the quarterback. Because when you look at it, it's kind of unpredictable with the pass rushers. Now you got to kind of bring home a linebacker like Elijah Hire. And then you also think about the corners as well. They have to be very, very man coverage. But then you look at the safeties with Earl, Shaheem Brown, and other guys like that. They're going to have to rush the passer also. So I just wonder what Florida State's going to do in terms of that, because I think defensive end is probably going to be the most struggle.
Yeah, well, and you look at it, if you can't rush the edge and you have to depend on other areas to blitz, that is a recipe for disaster, especially when you've got, Ryan Williams out on one side, Bernard on the other side, just all of those guys. And then as far as your linebacker core, are they real fast, or are they more of a run stoppage type style of linebackers?
Really run stopping for both of them. So Elijah Herring had about 140 tackles. He was at Memphis and also at Tennessee as well. And then you also got a guy like Stephon Thompson, who was also at Syracuse, and then he was also at Nebraska too, has over 250 career tackles.
My goodness, every time the whole time we've talked to you, every time you mention a player, they come from somewhere else. Did Mike Norvell just not do any kind of recruiting? I mean, or did he just go out and get a portal? Because yesterday in the show we were talking, and it's a brand new team. Like everybody, you got Syracuse, you got Alabama, you got Wake Forest, Boston College,
Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Florida State's got every team that's within driving distance.
Yeah, it's kind of worrisome a little bit more with the recruiting, because you look at Florida State, it's supposed to sell itself. But the problem was he kind of got these low 4 stars, high 3-star prospects that are kind of projects. that's the one thing I worry about with his team construction, because those transfers, as you saw in 2024, they run out.
Yeah.
You can be like a Jared Verse. You can be like a Braden Fisk. You can be like all these other guys that he had draft picks from. But realistically, when you look at the homegrown guys that he has, I mean, Azaria Thomas, I mean, there's not a whole lot of options there.
Well, and that's the thing. It seems like he is just all in on the portal. And that's okay if it works, because I believe that the fans, they just want to see wins on the paper. They want to see, you winning ball games. So we talked about it last Tuesday, and as you start, getting closer and closer to the season, is this game one of those games that, is going to make or break the season? Do you still feel like that going into it? Because last week, if you remember, I think we talked about it. It was we were kind of in that area of saying, well, put up a good showing, make it close, don't get blown out, and treat that as kind of a success to build on for the future or for the rest of the season. Have you felt any more of that going on, as far as people are wanting to have a win more than they are just showing a good game, playing a good, tough Alabama team, and being able to be on the field with them and not getting blown out?
Yeah, I think you just can't get blown out in that situation. It can't be a 42-10 type of game. You have to be competitive in the matchup, but also you're Florida State. You have a standard here. So obviously you want to be competitive against those teams, but can you be able to win the Kent State, the East Texas A&M, and then the Virginia game right after to go 3-1 if you had a loss to Alabama? It's just kind of hard and complicated to think about how the season's going to go, because you could also have those 2021 matchup against Notre Dame. You could have that same situation where you underplay the opponent after the Notre Dame game, and then it just kind of figures out what you got to do there.
Well, and during the break, me and Jeff were talking, and he was mentioning of last year's production, and obviously new coordinator for the offense, new quarterback for the offense, pretty much new players everywhere on the offense. But to understand what was on the field last year, I mean, no 300-yard passer, no 100-yard rusher, no 100-yard receiver, all of those things built into last year's debacle of a season. I believe that Florida State fans are saying, look, man, we need good football played here in Tallahassee, and if he can't do it, I believe that this year is going to be the telltale sign. Now, for his defense, everywhere he's ever coached, it seems like he's done the roller coaster thing. He'd be really good, really bad, really good, really bad. And so with that, and I know you're a Norvell guy, I know you love him, do you think there's any pressure on him going into this game?
I think he went against his grain a little bit, because you were able to get Malzahn to call plays this year. Even though he was a grad assistant at Tulsa under him, and he had such a relationship with him, it is kind of hard to see him kind of hand the keys to him in terms of that. So I just really don't know the factor of what Norvell has for this season. I know he thinks it's very important, but that 2026 schedule is even worse for Florida State in terms of this year. So it could be rough.
Yeah, and, that's one of those things where if he doesn't get it right this year, there may not be a next year. Well, when we come back from our break, we're going to be discussing Florida, the Gators, and Miami Hurricanes. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Paul Feinbaum Show.
You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something. Why don't you go catch your breath before commenting on somebody else's? And hacksaw Tuscaloosa Jim Duggan. You shut up, because I could strike you out blindfolded, pitching underhand with both arms tied behind my back.
Okay, why don't we take a break? I'm pretty exhausted.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the day, variety of some sun and a likelihood of thunderstorms, and 85 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest around 9 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies and possible thunderstorms and a low near 80. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and sprinkles and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
Anthony's Dream Collection isn't just an art gallery. It's a creative hub dedicated to transform your spaces and elevating your brand. Anthony's Dream Collection offers a comprehensive suite of artistic services designed to leave a lasting impression. Paintings on canvases, wall murals, and next-level graphic design services. Level up your home, office, and business with our one-stop shop. Visit anthonysdreamcollection.com for more information. That's anthonysdreamcollection.com.
GSX Lynn Haven WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Punch out towards third, backhanded and fouled around by Riley. Long throw. Oh! What a play by Riley!
Tonight, don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball from Truist Park as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Braves, pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. It's real, and it starts now. Back to the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. The 5 o'clock hour has hit us. We are here. The Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You're listening to the undisputed heavyweight champion of Sports Talk Radio right here in Panama City Beach. We also don't want to forget and leave out our great listeners over in Destin, Sandestin, and Santa Rosa. Give us a call. Give us a shout. Text us on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are talking college football right now with Taylor Devers from Chop Chat. We've been discussing FSU football. We're going to make the transition. But you know what, Taylor? If you look at it, me and Jeff were just talking, and you know that Bobby Bowden, the great Bobby Bowden, never had back-to-back losing seasons for the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah, it is definitely something because Bobby Bowden is a great coach. He is what Florida State meant to be. And I never thought I would see the day where Florida State would have two back-to-back losing seasons, but here we are.
Yeah, and don't forget, there was a famous coach that definitely had back-to-back losing seasons at Florida State. His name, Willie Taggart. And don't forget those years that they had down there in Tallahassee as well.
Yes, it was definitely rough. I feel like a Miami fan at that point. We didn't really accomplish much, and I'm hoping that Norvell can kind of turn the trend around.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He's got the right picks in there. He's got a new team. He's got new coordinators. And so we will see. Obviously, you know what direction I am hoping for come August the 30th down there in Tallahassee. We're excited about it. Now, we're going to pivot here, and we're going to talk about the Florida Gators. Now, Billy Napier with the Florida Gators this year is starting out with a fresh quarterback. His quarterback, there was some things going on early on in camp where somebody had said they had seen him in a walking boot and maybe was banged up. But Billy told the media, that there's no reason to be concerned. He is just fine, and we haven't heard anything else different than that. But I just want to say that this year's Florida schedule is probably the most brutal in the country. And so you better be ready, Billy Napier. You better be ready, Florida Gator fans, to turn out and to show out, because if they're going to be able to have a successful season, they're going to have to really play some good football teams because they're playing some tough teams. You know what, Jeff, do you have it pulled up? Who does Florida got starting out as far as who's their first big-time game?
Big-time game, because I was going to say their schedule. I don't have the schedule open up, but they do open up with a cupcake, I'm pretty sure. The Gators do.
Okay. Yeah, so it'd probably be pretty easy for them starting out.
Yeah.
But, so, Taylor, what do you think about the Gators so far from what you've been hearing down there in Gainesville?
Yeah, I actually have a couple of people down in Gainesville, and they're a little concerned about DJ Lagway's injury. The calf injury is a little scary. He had a sleeve over his left leg in practice today, and he's been completing some passes. He has some weapons in Dallas Wilson, who was a former four-star prospect out of Tampa. They really like him. So I think that this could be a guy that Florida can kind of rely on. But DJ Lagway has already had a shoulder injury. He's now have a calf injury. Is he made of glass? It's kind of something I wonder about. And I know he's extremely talented. He was a five-star prospect out of high school. He did really, really well at Florida last year in limited role. But is he even a top 5 SEC quarterback if he's made of glass?
Man.
He's actually, I would say he's on the cusp of being number 5.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because seriously.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be talking about Arch Manning, right?
Yeah.
Nussmeier's in the conversation. I'm not being biased just because I'm an LSU guy,
Yeah.
right? Tennessee has nobody.
Right. They got the West
Forget him.
Virginia.
Everybody's talking about the Sellers guy over at South Carolina. Who's had flashes, not consistent enough, though.
Right.
Ty Simpson? No. I mean.
Yet.
I'm trying to think of somebody else, because those top 3 guys that I named.
You know what?
Lagway could be the 4th best quarterback.
Yeah,
in the SEC.
I mean, would you say Pavia would be in that?
Oh, yeah. Vanderbilt guy. Oh, my God. Where's he from? New Mexico? Diego.
Yeah, Diego Pop. Yeah, I think so. I think he's from New Mexico.
Yeah.
But hold on a second. Before we get the wheels rolling off of this whole Ty Simpson thing, let's talk about it for just a second.
Okay.
So if you think about it, if you remember not too far back, we had a little bit of the same conversation when Mac Jones was stepping in, and everybody in the Alabama faithful, myself included, we wanted to see the freshman. We wanted to see Bryce Young step in as a freshman to start, because Mac Jones hasn't shown us nothing all year. And then Mac Jones went out there and won the national title and was a outstanding college quarterback. So if Ty Simpson can look just half of the quarterback that Mac Jones was, obviously he had some way better weapons, back then at that beginning time, but we've got a very, very good wide receiver core. This isn't the Alabama segment, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I know that a lot of people has been dumping on our guy Ty Simpson right now, and he might not be the guy. He may not be the guy because as of right now, this week's practices, they're still splitting first-team quarterback reps. So that's not good.
No.
It doesn't make me feel good. I remember Greg McElroy said, be patient with Ty Simpson. I do not want to be patient with anybody at my quarterback. I want to be ready to go as far as August the 30th. I don't want to take anything away from the kid, but if he's the guy, then he needs to be the guy. If he's not the guy, then they do need to look at Russell or the other guy. So, I just wanted to say that. I know we're already laughing because LSU's got a Nussmeier who's had the second, his second number 2 of the whole SEC. They're talking about how great he looked at the Manning camp. You know what the difference between playing real SEC football and the Manning camp? There's no 300-pound lineman coming after you to tackle you that's going to hit you in the mouth when you throw the ball.
Yeah. Or actually we'll just say 11 people chasing after you.
Right.
And then once you're out, they're out for blood,
Yeah. I
just kind of wonder, too. I mean, DJ Lagway had 12 touchdowns and 9 picks last year. I mean, does that scream elite to you?
No, but I'd say it's completely average, really. 12-9 is one of those things where you're just average.
And don't forget, now they did have They had a bad schedule last year too. I mean, it was a little bit of a brutal schedule, especially right there at the end.
But they came on at the end. The Gators.
They did. They looked better.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody's looking at, Taylor, is that how they ended the season more than how they started the season. And then, even though his numbers wasn't, they wouldn't grab you, so to speak. I think that's what the people are looking at, because they do have him as far as, all of the lists that I've seen. I'm not saying that there's not lists out there that doesn't have him very high, but as far as some of the lists that I've seen, he's been in the top 5, top 7 of SEC quarterbacks coming into this year.
Yeah, I just wonder with like a guy like John Mateer from Oklahoma, Washington State transfer, in an offense that's kind of an air raid system. I mean, he had over 30 touchdowns last year, had about 10 rushing touchdowns. I think they could be very dynamic in an Oklahoma offense, even though it is playing against SEC schools.
Yeah, I mean, and you gotta know, is Mateer that good, or was Jackson Arnold that bad? Because there were times where he looked out like didn't even know what he was doing. It looked like at times, and so is it? Can Mateer scramble? Can Mateer get outside the pocket, or did he stay in the pocket at Washington State? I haven't watched a lot of film on him, and that's kind of where, for me, in the SEC, and that's what we've been talking about with Nussmeier. Nussmeier, if you draw it up and you have practice and you have the things going on, he can throw dimes. He can drop dimes all day long. Put him in the game where he's got to get outside the pocket. Put him in the game where he's getting rushed by, 2, 3, 4 different people, not knowing where the coverage is, being able to read what the safety's doing. All of those things built up. Can he get the ball out early? Can he drop dimes then? And that's the same thing that we're talking about with DJ Lagway. What progression will he be at the time of the start of the season? Because if he looks like he did last year, it won't be good enough with this schedule.
Yeah, you kind of talk about the two cupcakes early in the year. They play LIU, they play South Florida. Don't sleep on South Florida either, because South Florida's been very competitive against SEC schools. But here's the biggest struggle that I think you see. At LSU, at Miami, I'm not even saying Miami's a road environment, versus Texas, and at Texas A&M. That big 4-game stretch right there, they could go 2-4.
Yeah, that's true. With them being, to me, Texas A&M is one of those sleeper kind of teams this year. I think Elko's going to do a good job there. I think he'll get his handle on the program a little bit better. He'll start looking better, kind of take his identity a little bit more. But those games like that, if they do come out 2-4, if they go 0-4, or if they go 3-1, something like that, then I think they could possibly push for a playoff. But if they go 2-4 in that deal right there, I don't know. I don't even know if Napier saves his job on that.
Well, we were saying the same thing last year, though. I mean, and to be honest with you, the schedule last year was actually a smidgen harder than this year, because basically they played Miami last year and they played Florida State out of conference, right?
Right.
And the third team that they had was UCF down in Orlando, right? They've replaced that with South Florida. And if you look at those two teams consistently, UCF is almost always a better team than South Florida.
Yeah.
And in their fourth out-of-conference, Long Island, Coach James Hale in the Morning Time said, do they have a football team? And that's who they start off with. That's the cupcake that I was saying. I remember it was somebody. I just didn't remember it was Long Island. I mean, come on. But exactly what Taylor's saying about the road games. And after he named all those road games, later on in the season, they got Ole Miss. They got to play at Ole Miss. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, and I don't even say Georgia's a home game, because that's a neutral site.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might have a bold take here, but
Okay.
I know a lot of people give this quarterback a hate. But do you think Marcel Reed from Texas A&M and Florida's DJ Lagway are almost identical quarterbacks?
Maybe. That would be one of those. That's
not as highly touted.
The injury history?
Yeah, that's kind of fair. I mean, you can't not look at it and see the similarities. I mean, that's a very good matchup, really. I mean, those two guys, their numbers look similar. They've both been hurt. They both, didn't really have an identity for their offense, and they both were new guys. And I think that's really what every year you come in and you want to see that guy take the next step. You want to see that guy be the guy. And that's really the question. You won't see it in Long Island University. You won't see if he goes out there and throws 4 touchdowns for 355 yards and no picks, and if you want to start putting him in the early favorites for the Heisman after playing Long Island University, then fine. But when you start getting into the meat and you start seeing him play against the teams like you're talking about away, and then if he's taking the next step, I believe it'll show. Because let's don't get it twisted. He's a 5-star. All 5 stars don't always make it. There's been some that didn't make it. There's been some that did make it. But does he have the ability to take the next step? And the way it sounds to me, Taylor, is you're saying you aren't very convinced yet.
Yeah, the thing that I worry about the most is their rushing attack. Jaden Baugh is actually hurt for them right now in camp. Not looking great. He's been on the non-participant list for a long time at this point. And I just wonder if Billy Napier can be able to establish that running game. If he can't do that, DJ's having to do everything on his own. What are you going to do then?
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. If you can't run the football in SEC play, you will be in trouble. I mean, that's got to be the number one thing that they've got to be able to lean on to help him, because you want to be able to establish the run game so that he can beat you with some of his, great arm talent that he does have. And so with that, that's where, as coaches, you've got to be able to put them in the right position against it, because you don't want having to just rely on the passing game. It's just the same thing that we talked about with the Gus Malzahn offense at Florida State. You don't want to be able to abandon the run, because I believe that Lagway can individually. From what I've seen, I believe in the kid. I think he's going to be one of those guys this year that surprises some people. I think you'll see him, outside of barring an injury. I think he'll be one of those guys that you'll be talking about next year as being one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC. I just believe that. And for whatever reason, I think Billy Napier is an excellent coach. I know that some people don't agree with that. I know some people don't like him. And maybe it's just that he come from the University of Alabama. And maybe that might be why I like him so much. But I trust the Gators this year, even though they're going to have a bad schedule. What do y'all think?
I think it's like, what have you done for me lately? The Gators ended the season beating LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State, and then destroyed Tulane in the bowl. They're on a 4-game win streak. I mean, and you're right about Lagway being compared to the A&M quarterback. I do understand that. Not really a lot of people looking at that type of situation. But the problem is that the A&M quarterback keeps on getting compared to Arch Manning, and there's no comparison.
Yeah.
Where you're looking at a Lagway, and they're going to compare him to what? A Miami quarterback or Florida State or Georgia. All you have is what? Carson Beck, who transferred down to Miami?
Yeah.
I mean, Lagway looks like he has an advantage against his opponents where, the other guy, he's not going to be compared against Arch Manning but that's their bitter rival,
Yeah.
So everybody in Texas is going to be talking about Arch.
Yeah.
And
so they should be. Christopher Multicante wrote, why does everyone overrate Lagway so much? What about his 58% completion percentage gives you hope?
And also, we were talking about Florida State not having a 300-yard passer last year, right? Mm-hmm. Lagway had one game where he threw over. Now, of course, he was hurt for a little bit, and they had Mertz in there, right?
Yeah.
But he had one game that was over 300 yards, and it's when he destroyed Samford.
Yeah.
That was their cupcake last year.
Not Stanford.
No, Sam Ford.
In Alabama.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. And we know from the last, let me think about it. Tim Tebow's been gone since 2008 or something like that. I think it was 2008.
Somewhere around there.
I mean, how many times have we heard Gator fans say, we got this great guy. And then what? Nothing.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson was that guy.
Well, yeah. He's the only one who's really kind of panned out a little bit. And now in the pros, it's like, is this guy even going to get not a shot? He's getting shots. It's just that he's not.
Probably going to lose his job to Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Well, Hopefully he'll just still be on the team and be,
Yeah,
backup.
he'll be the backup, but
I mean, so many times you've heard Gator fans tout about, we have this great quarterback, and then nothing.
Yeah, and when you look at Lagway's size, I think that's something that everybody kind of looks at because he's a physical specimen. I mean, he is. I didn't realize how big he was until, he was standing in a picture with Tim Tebow. He's bigger, way bigger than Tim Tebow.
Wow.
As far as, the thickness, he's not as big.
Yeah.
But as height-wise and just being big, he's bigger than Tebow. And, when you look at him like that, you're like, wow, look at that guy. You didn't realize he was that big.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe it really is just going to be, what type of offensive system is going to fit him perfectly. And if they can establish the run, let him do some play action, even let him get him outside the pocket. Now, if Taylor, this is a big if he's made of glass, will the Gators all but just fold it up, turn in, and be in the cellar for the rest of the year?
Well, I do think DJ Lagway should change majors. He might have to go to an Oskey winner kind of actor situation there because that injury that he had against Georgia, where you thought he basically died on the field, he was getting carted off, and then the next week he shows up in the next game. I don't know. I don't really think that's a heart of a champion. Maybe I'm wrong, but that schedule is pretty rough. Even at the back half of the schedule, you got Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then Florida State. You can clown Florida State for winning 2 games last year. They lost to Florida by 3 touchdowns. But you know how many turnovers they had in that game? 8.
Ooh, God dang.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Self-imploded.
Yeah, so they just,
Yeah, you can't win a game with 11 points. Florida State couldn't. Florida State scored 11
DJ
points.
Lagway has 130 passing yards. And also, he didn't have to do too much.
Yeah, you're right. And if you look at the Ole Miss or LSU, passing yards, you're not hitting 300. I mean, you're just being a game maintainer at that point, and you're hoping that LSU doesn't score but 16 points, which is what they did.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Can they establish themselves? Can they block? Can they play good defense? And can they give Lagway enough time to be able to stand back there and do the things that he has shown flashes of doing, which is be a good quarterback? So that's going to be a big if. That's going to be a big question mark. There's a lot of Gator fans around here, and they seem to believe in what they're doing. They believe that Napier is going to do the job. Even though some people thought maybe he would not be their coach this year, there's still people that are saying, hey, Napier's our guy. We're going to trust him. We're going to see what Lagway does and see what the future beholds. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about those Miami Hurricanes that we've been discussing a little bit, and I'm excited to see whether or not Carson Beck's going to be the quarterback that they hope him to be. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290.
Your attention, please.
ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike 3.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. For tonight, a chance of thunderstorms and partly cloudy skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze coming out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a possibility of thunderstorms and very light rain with temps around 84. In the afternoon and evening, likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles and a temperature near 86. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts in Delhi. Call 763-1627.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are excited to have you riding with us. Whether you're listening to us on the FM dial at 104.3 or if you are on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, whatever else of your videos that you listen to, watch, just remember to like, share, comment. Don't forget also to call in, text in the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. You know, we're going to be discussing some of the Miami stuff. And, you know, before we do, I want to give a good shout out to one of our great sponsors, AutoNation Ford over in Panama City. If you need service, if you need anything related to car repair, go see those guys. They will be the guys for you. They're good. They're fast. They're friendly. Go see them over there at AutoNation Ford in Panama City and tell them Paul Wilson sent you. A lot of those guys over there listen to the show, and we appreciate you guys over there listening to the show. Now, we're going to get into this Miami Hurricanes talk. We've got the Chop Chat, Taylor Devers on the phone line with us. We're going to be discussing a little bit more of college football, talking about these Hurricanes. Now, one of our listeners wrote in and said Beck will be a top 15 pick this year. We're saying Lagway has the advantage in the state. No possible way. We're also saying that Florida goes 6-6 this year, tops. That's what one of our callers said. And I can't necessarily say I don't agree with him because of the way the schedule lays and the uncertainty that we have with DJ Lagway with his injury early on, and whether or not they're going to be able to form an identity and be able to get that identity rolling on the offensive side of the ball. Now, if we look at Miami, we've got to look at their schedule right off the bat. We can talk about Carson Beck all we want, but Jeff, who do they open with?
Notre Dame in Miami. And then they follow up with a cupcake right after that.
Yeah, but Notre Dame.
Bethune-Cookman, historically black,
college university. Yeah. So Taylor, what do you think? Notre Dame, first ball game of the season, they take more. Florida State and Miami both said, you know what, we're going to start this year out with powerhouses. We're going to bring Alabama in. We're going to bring Notre Dame in. Florida says we're going to bring Long Island University into Gainesville and try to see what happens. And so, I mean, you got to laugh at it. But, man, starting out with Notre Dame, Taylor, what do you think about Miami's chances against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
I will say this, man. Notre Dame fans are really excited about C.J. Carr.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming off of Riley Leonard, who was a former quarterback over there, used to play at Duke, and was very successful last year, as everyone knows. Guy's a guy like Jeremiah Love who's going to hand the ball off to. So you just wonder what Miami's defense is going to do in this sense. And while I am saying that Miami is going to have a good team this year, it is at Hard Rock Stadium where fans don't really show up as much. Are they going to be able to show up for this team against Notre Dame in a hostile environment and make it a game for Notre Dame? That's going to be the test.
You can say what you want to. There's teams across the country. Notre Dame is one of those teams. You have it in the NFL. You've got Steelers and you got Cowboys. Those fans travel well. I would not be surprised if you would see a lot of Notre Dame. You'll see a lot of blue, you'll see a lot of green, and that fan base will travel. They'll be down there in Miami they went to Ireland whatever year that was, they traveled well with that. So I'm telling you, Notre Dame will travel, and they will be I'm not trying to say that Miami isn't going to have the home field advantage, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was somewhere around 60-40 or even 50-50 with the Notre Dame fans, because they travel well. Notre Dame fans are everywhere. I mean,
they're everywhere.
So they're everywhere. You'll run into a Notre Dame fan anywhere. That if you travel, you'll see them. You'll see that ugly little leprechaun on their hat.
And the irony is that the Midwest doesn't have a whole lot of Catholics. I mean, there's a bunch in Chicago. Obviously, the Pope is from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
But they always say that there's an alumni base on that East Coast. But let's be honest, Florida, Texas, California, that's Catholic territory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Catholics there.
Yeah, and you'll see.
And so they don't even need to travel. Because, they're already you're in the backyard, you know?
Yeah, they'll be there.
What's the funniest part about this schedule, though, not just opening up with Notre Dame. So the next 4 games are Bethune-Cookman, South Florida, Florida, and Florida State. These are 4 Florida teams in a row.
Wow.
And 3 of them, the first 3, are all at home, and then they go to Tallahassee.
Wow.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying the Seminoles have a little bit of an advantage, because they're playing a team that just played 4 home games. They haven't been on the road, and they're going to go to Tallahassee, which is an advantage Seminoles.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big question mark, because the schedule always matters. And when you have it, and thanks for doing that, thanks for looking at that, when you look at it that way, man, if they could come out of that little run undefeated before they go to Florida State, and then say Florida State plays Alabama tough and they do really well.
And beat Virginia.
And
then the Pitt game, I think, is before that.
Yeah, I think
right
so.
Before it. Yeah, I think.
Could you have a Florida State Miami game in Tallahassee? That could be a
Taylor, you getting excited? I mean, we could be talking about a 4-0 Hurricanes, and you pull the Virginia game off. Boom. We're talking top 10. That could be a top 10 matchup.
It depends on what the score is with Alabama. If they were to be close with Alabama, you could probably still be in about 15, 17 range.
Yeah, for sure. Because they would consider it. What's that? Go ahead.
Here's 2 questions I got for you.
Yeah.
So if Miami loses to a Notre Dame and they lose to a Florida, they have 2 losses going into Florida State.
Wow.
How is their perception of the season going into Florida State? Because you got a bye week after Florida, then you have a bye week after Florida State. So you're setting it up for your quote-unquote Super Bowl to keep your playoff hopes alive, to keep the spirit of the season alive. Is that enough to really generate excitement in the fan base if you're able to beat a Florida State at that point?
No, not at all. If you get curb stomped by Notre Dame at home and lose to Florida in any style or fashion, and then beat who you're supposed to beat, oh man, that Florida State game just is one of those games that doesn't get televised, or it might just be a game that you want to watch on your phone or something, because at that point, and let's just be real about it, Carson Beck, this is it for him. If it's either put up or shut up right now. He had the injury. That injury is a big injury. I was talking to Brad Haddad yesterday, or about it yesterday, and Brian Haddad, I'm sorry. And, that's a big injury. Anytime you mess around with that elbow, anytime you mess with it, get it hurt, having to rehab, all of those things, it's a tough way to come back. It's tough. And so this is it for Carson Beck. I know the story has been about, he lost his girlfriend, he lost his Lamborghini, or, stolen or whatever, all of those things. But coming into the season, this is make or break for Carson Beck. Now, one of our fans did say something on Facebook about them, and, said that he's going to be a top 15 pick. Also, he said Miami will run the ball and run it well. A 3-headed monster at running back with a top 3 O-line in the country.
Wow.
Look at Miami coming back to be a hostile environment down there. And he said, got to go to Tallahassee. He's laughing at you right now, Jeff.
Yeah, he is.
He said, I know Beck isn't 28-3 playing an SEC schedule the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Georgia did not look the same without him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's saying that his biggest worry is for Miami is SMU. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
So he doesn't think Florida, nor does he think Florida State. He didn't mention anything about Notre Dame, but, you know.
So I have two thoughts. Number one, they didn't play SMU last year. And when Miami dropped those two conference games late in the season, SMU, and actually it wasn't SMU that was sneaking in, it was Clemson that was sneaking into the conference championship. But you know how I said, what have you done for me lately? And the Gators won those 3 games at the end of the year, Ole Miss, LSU, and Florida State. Inverse, it's the Hurricanes. You start out 9-0 and you drop a game at Georgia Tech and at Syracuse that are mid teams in the ACC. And I'm not even going to talk about the the bowl game, because Cam Ward, I think, came out at halftime.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about that. But if you drop 2 of your last 3 games to mid teams in the ACC, you know, where are you going with this? Because what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. And when you look at Carson Beck playing with all the talent that he had in Georgia, this is a different feel for him.
Yeah.
He's always been around 5 stars. Every time he's played quarterback, he's been around 5 stars. He's been a 5-star running back, 5-star offensive line, 5-star wide receivers. And then, you know, not to say that Miami doesn't have good wide receivers, not to say that they don't have a good offensive line.
Or running backs.
Just like what he said. Yeah. But are they going to be able to, you know, will he be the guy? I mean, because going into last year, I don't know if you remember it or not, but Carson Beck was on everybody's list as being the possibility to be in the first-round draft pick going into last year. I mean, high hopes were for Carson Beck. And he threw, if you remember the Alabama game, had a terrible first half. They couldn't move the ball. He was missing throws. He was missing. He was throwing interceptions. He did the things that you're not supposed to do, and he brought them back and made that game respectable. If you remember, that game got out of hand early in Tuscaloosa. Ryan Williams was out there clowning, catching balls, and making them run into each other. I mean, everybody was ready to put Ryan Williams on the Heisman Trophy list already, you know what I mean, because of that game. And then Carson Beck brought him back.
Yeah.
What do you think, Taylor? You're buying the Carson Beck train?
Well, let me just start with this. Miami's offense with Mark Fletcher at running back is a very, very good back. I think he's very good. Problem is their receiver position is terrible. Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George, Isaiah Horton, they're all gone. You got a guy like Malachi Toney, Josiah Trader, Keelan Marion from BYU transfer, Tony Johnson from Cincinnati, even a C.J. Daniels from LSU. Those are all unproven guys that barely even have 500 yards career on their receiving. So are you really trusting that? You just told me that Georgia didn't have any receivers last year, and now you're having a reliable group here in receivers?
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, let's look at something, though, because what does it all boil down to? It has to boil down to the X's and O's. Well, who does the X's and O's? The coach. Mario Cristobal started out 6-6, went 7-5, and then 10-3. Now, he did have the number 1 draft pick of Cam Ward. So he's been going up ever since. You can't deny the fact that Cristobal has come down there to Miami and done very well. He's made them relevant again. I mean, we're talking about them. Obviously, Beck thought they were good enough to go to. He's trying to make money. Obviously, they gave him a lot of money. But still, we're talking about the Hurricanes playing Notre Dame right off the bat. That, to me, is going to be one of those games that you're going to want to watch, and you're going to say, okay, is Notre Dame still the team they were from last year? And has Miami maybe possibly made the next step by grabbing some of those guys that are unproven but have played with a quarterback that's got a tremendous amount of experience playing against top-tier talent? That's the question.
So Marcus Freeman, is that the coach for Notre Dame?
Yes, Marcus Freeman.
So he lost, like week 2 to Northern Illinois, I think it was, and then he ran the table and the rest of the schedule, here and there type of schedule, right? and then they go in the playoffs. I think they played like one easy team in the playoffs, and then they got to the championship game, and they lost the championship game. This is what they're coming off of.
Yeah.
And they got to go play Miami in Miami. When you said you think it's all Notre Dame, you kind of had me believing a little bit, because I can't remember. Let's see. They didn't have the bye in the playoffs, right?
Right.
So they played 16 games last year. It went 14-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Miami did in their own right. They went 10-3, and yeah. But the thing is, I have to wonder in the back of my mind, did Cam Ward make the players around him better?
Yes.
Because they have numbers. Those running backs had numbers. Those wide receivers had numbers. And now those guys, Taylor's saying they're gone.
Yeah.
Now, can Carson Beck make the guys around him better like Cam Ward? Probably not.
I don't know. What do you think, Taylor? You think Carson Beck's that guy?
I kind of wonder, you talk about the Notre Dame game and the Florida game early on in the season, but then you talk about Miami kind of faltering under pressure later in the year. I don't really disagree or agree with the SMU comment because I know SMU is a very talented team, but they're back after the schedule. Louisville, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, at Virginia Tech, and then also at Pitt. I mean, that is pretty difficult in terms of ACC terms. And if you don't have receivers to throw the ball to and you have to be really, really physical, some of those teams are going to be physical with you. So I just wonder what's going to happen if Carson Beck is going to have to run the football, kind of throw the top off the defense with limited weapons, really. You have basically Tommy John surgery at that point on your arm. You're having to kind of gel with your receivers and everything later on in camp. Doesn't really seem like a recipe for success.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if Carson Beck, comes out and does awesome and makes everybody that doubted him at Georgia, everybody doubted him coming into this season with not being able to have a longevity of getting to know his wide receivers. If he comes out and has a great year and does awesome, I think a top 15 pick would be something in his, reach. But if he doesn't, if he comes out and because of all the money and because of all the publicity and because of all the things that's been talked about Carson Beck leaving Georgia, going to the NFL draft, pulling himself out, signing with Miami, making all the money, driving the Lambo, getting the Lambo stolen, having the girlfriend, getting the girlfriend left her, And so the thing is like it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things, and you wonder what he's going to do. And we know that there's talent in the arm. Obviously, with the injury, it hurts him, but he dropped dimes. I remember seeing him. He, like I said, I'm going to pull it back and look at what he was going into last year of what he was, because that surgery that he had is a significant surgery. That injury that he had is a significant injury. And the thing is that when you take a guy that knows how to play a college football game. Look at what Cam Ward did last year, though. Honestly, why did he play so well? Because he played a lot of football in college. He was a guy that played a lot of football. Look at Bo Nix right now at Denver.
Broncos.
Yeah, he's playing great. Why? He played 6 years of college football. And when you look at these guys that have played a lot of football, a lot of times they're good. Obviously, there's always an exception to the rule, but he looks, if he can look the part, play the part, and act the part, Carson Beck possibly could be a front runner for the Heisman. I believe what you're saying. I believe they're going to have to go to Pitt. I believe they're going to have to go and play North Carolina State. Those are tricky games. You can play Louisville. We always hammer the ACC about not being strong. But the fact of the matter is sometimes you got to learn how to play teams and you got to learn how to beat teams. Has Cristobal learned how to beat those teams in his conference? And then can Carson Beck play to the level of Cam Ward? Can he play to that level of where he's going to be a guy that can beat you and take the top off of the defense and make you have to keep the safeties out of the box and then start running it down your throat and then make the game switch to where you don't know what they're going to do on offense?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely agreed to being able to nail the ball at the end of the game. I just don't know how you can't nail the ball at the end of the game. So, I mean, if he's not able to make these simple game management decisions at that point, is he worth it?
Yeah. Well, we just got somebody that said that Miami wins by 15 at home. That's
versus
one
Notre Dame?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
So Miami's going to win based off of their belief.
So I think they're going to be underdog, even though they're playing at home. Miami's going to be underdog to Notre Dame. They'll probably be, it possibly could be an underdog to the Gators. And then, depending upon what SMU does to open the gate, that could be 3 games that could be underdog. Other than that, I mean, it'd have to be Louisville or Pitt is the only 2 teams that I would see on the schedule where they could be an underdog.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's say they lose. Let's say SMU does not have a hangover. Because we know how TCU had a hangover, after they went to the title game. But not that SMU went to the title game, but they went to the playoffs. Let's say they lose to SMU, Florida, and Notre Dame. Again, they're 9-3, and they're sitting where? Right outside of that top 12.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. And
so,
it just really depends on how good the ACC is this year. What kind of records they have,
and
if they're good.
And I'm not saying that Louisville's inconsistent, but, sometimes they just show these little flashes, and I'm not even bringing up Lamar Jackson.
Right.
There's been other, Brom.
Yeah, that's the Brom. Yeah, he's the coach.
Yeah, they have potential.
Yeah,
for
they look good at times, like top 20, top 15 at times, and then look really bad at other times.
Yeah.
But, that's one of those things where, we'll be watching. We're going to be definitely excited about it. I'm actually excited to watch Miami versus Notre Dame now that I know that they're playing. I didn't really look at the schedule coming into it because I hadn't started looking at my schedules yet. We're going to definitely do some pick-ems as we get closer to the schedule, and that's going to be
close it is.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Today's the 5th.
Yeah, so we're 25 days out for August the 30th. So that's a pretty nice little time. We got a lot more to talk about, but still, I'm getting excited. It's starting. The college football is starting to really get pumping in these veins.
I can't wait to see Long Island.
Oh man, they're going to be great. And we're going to go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the coaches poll. Did they get it right? Or did they get it wrong? You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. You've read the headlines. You've seen the highlights. But how about the unfiltered truth?
Steroid era, you can like it, love it, hate it, whatever. It saved baseball.
Since 2017, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed leader for sports coverage on the Panhandle. If it matters in sports, it matters to us, and it matters to you. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. For tonight, a chance of thunderstorms and partly cloudy skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze coming out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a possibility of thunderstorms and very light rain with temps around 84. In the afternoon and evening, likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles and a temperature near 86. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Great design is timeless, and that's why Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves offers a stunning selection of vintage, antique, estate jewelry on sale now at 40% off. Exquisite Victorian rings, Art Deco diamond brooches, Georgian and Art Deco bracelets, earrings, and pendants. These one-of-a-kind pieces add personality to any ensemble, and now at 40% off. Find your timeless treasure at Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Punched out towards third, backhanded and fouled around by Riley. Long throw. Oh, ho, ho!
Don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball from Truist Park as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Braves, pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. You think you've been on your grind? The 11-year-old cashier at the Gin Gin puts in more hours than you.
Do any of you people do any actual work?
Just saying.
We might need to work on your sales pitch.
Less work and more play.
All right, show's over. Everybody back to work.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, before the show is over, you can call, you can text 850-215-6290 at the Red 7T's phone line. You know, before we continue our talk, we appreciate you, Taylor, being on with us, but I also want to go ahead and step over into Major League Baseball. Don't forget tonight that the Braves, they take on the Brewers here. Coverage starts at 6. First pitch is at 6:15. Your place for the Atlanta Braves. Now, don't forget, all rise. Aaron Judge is back in the lineup tonight. The Yankees will be trying to turn it around. They're on a 4-game skid. The other day, they got swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm sorry, the Marlins. The Florida Marlins swept them that's the first time they've ever swept them, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they swept them.
And how long the Marlins, I mean, obviously they were around in the 90s.
Yeah, but let me say this. How about this one? Did you know that the only team in Major League Baseball that has a winning record against the New York Yankees is the Florida Marlins? How
You
about
mean
that?
this year?
No, just in general. In the whole scope of
They didn't
things.
do inter-league play
Correct.
back in the 90s.
But they've had the best of the Yankees when they have played. And so the other day they went 4 in a row.
I remember that
Swept them.
year that they met each other in the World Series.
The World Series.
And I was so pulling for the Marlins because, you know, I am not a Yankees fan,
I
just to
know.
let you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to hurt also about not just the Yankees dropping 4 in a row like that, but the Red Sox are on a 6-game win streak.
Oh, yeah. And they've already.
And they're in second.
They're in second
by,
place.
what, a game and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
No, two and a half, maybe.
Yeah, 2.5. They're
Two and
up.
a half.
They're
So
up
that's
2.5.
good. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not saying that's good, but, you know, I don't like the Yankees.
Right. Well, since Judge has been out of the lineup since July the 25th, the Yankees are 4-7. So they're currently 60-53, third place in the AL East, 5.5 games back from the Blue Jays, and like you said, 2.5 games back
Red Sox.
of the Red Sox. And check this out. This is what's scary for the Yankee fans out there. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Rangers in the wild card. So that's still really close. 2.5 games ahead of the Rangers.
And do you know who's playing the Rangers tonight?
Who?
The Yankees.
The Yankees. Yeah.
The Yankees are
because-
playing at.
Yeah, because last night they walked Wyatt Langford and pitched to the next guy.
Yeah.
He hits a home run, walks the game off.
Wow.
Yeah, walks the game off.
So them playing each other, somebody's going to be gaining a game
tonight
tonight when they're playing each other.
Absolutely.
And that's just, you know, that's wild.
Yeah. Well, yesterday they broke out the college coaches poll.
Coaches poll, yeah.
And man, I am shocked.
So let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
I've always thought the coaches poll is biased. And AP can be a little bit. I mean, in the past more so than now. Yeah. I'm not all about the coaches poll.
You don't buy the coaches poll?
It's the second one you should go to.
What do you think, Taylor, about the coaches poll?
You want to give you kind of a tidbit here?
Uh-huh.
Florida State got 8 receiving votes.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just don't understand that. Somebody's believing in Mike Norvell. Somebody's believing in Gus Malzahn. I can't believe it. Yesterday during the show, I couldn't believe it. Coach Brian said that, you know, they got a brand new team, brand new coordinators. Why not?
Oh, Gus Malzahn. I mean, he won. Well, I would say he won. He won the SEC, right, in 2013 when they went and played the Florida State Seminoles for the national title game. That was the Kick 6 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can you believe that's been 12 years?
No.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about stuff like that.
Yeah. Paul, don't cry about this kick six.
I don't like talking about that. I mean, it's like always on TV. Every year they put it on the TV for, the replay. That's fine.
Yeah.
But how many national championships have they
got
won?
to live their best life.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
all
have to
they're
hold
doing.
on to, plays like that they just,
Yeah,
it's like a dream to them.
Yeah.
Because I think, the Auburn was 10-1. They were 10-1 going into that game, but nobody was giving them a chance in that kick six game.
No, they wasn't.
Thought Bama was the team.
Yeah. And if they played 10 times, they probably would be the team. So, but anyway, they don't play 10 times. So let's move on to this coaches poll.
Yeah, let's move on.
Before I get aggravated even more here at the end of the shift.
Yeah.
So when you look at is there anything, Taylor, to you that stands out, like from 1 through 25? What's the number one team that you think they got it wrong with?
Well, there's always a top 20, or actually a top 10 school that is always going to fall out and be unranked. And Florida State was that team last year. Also, Michigan was too.
Yeah.
But just trying to find that team that you have in the top 10, and really the two that I pinpoint a little bit is Miami, who we discussed a little bit earlier, because I think there is a couple of games there that can be kind of tricky. Maybe they're 9-3 and they get out of the top 10. But then you got a team like LSU.
Oh.
That they play Clemson, they play Ole Miss, they play at Alabama, they play at Oklahoma, South Carolina.
Oh man.
Florida.
Yes.
I mean, that's 6 games right there that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, more than sketchy. Could be losses. Come on,
so
Jeff.
we could almost compare LSU to Miami because I'm going to tell you right now, LSU's got to play at Clemson, at Ole Miss, and at Alabama. So you lose those 3 games, let's just say, per se, 9-3. You got to beat Texas A&M in Florida.
Yeah.
You have to.
Have to.
And then, So that's the scenario I look at. And then guess where that's going to put LSU and Miami at 9-3. Right outside that top 12.
Yeah, outside. And guess what that means?
That means
some Louisiana people from Baton Rouge are going to be hot.
Yeah.
And not only are they going to be hot, Brian Kelly's seat's going to be hot. And they're going to be calling for him.
No.
They're going to be calling for him.
I'd say if they went 8-4, it's hot. And if it's 7-5,
he's out.
It depends how you lose those games.
Yeah.
It really does. You go 6-6, yeah, he's out.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Did you see?
It's like, what's that?
Did you see anybody in that top 25 or that top 10 that you didn't think was should be there?
Well, you know what? I don't have the UPI is what they call the coaches poll, right?
Yeah.
I don't have that in front of me, but I have the ESPN poll, and I'm thinking that Oregon's a little low. What's the UPI have?
He's got him at 7.
Yeah, that's 7 here.
Yeah, do you think that's low?
I think that's a little low. I think they're a little higher than that.
You think so?
I really think that
Lanning?
I think Oregon can win the Big Ten 2 years in a row, and that's hard to even wrap your head around.
Yeah.
If you would have told somebody that 2 years ago, they would have called you crazy.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on that one at all. I think
Illinois.
Yes, they're going to be good.
Oh,
Yeah,
Watch.
I agree.
I think
Brett Bielema.
Yeah, Bielema is he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And he's starting to figure it out. I think Illinois is going to be the surprise of the Big Ten. I think they're going to not necessarily win the Big Ten, but they're going to be one of the ones that either upsets Ohio State, Penn State. I haven't looked at their schedule.
Yeah.
They'll beat Ohio State or Penn State or somebody this year, I believe, because I believe in Bielema. I think he's a good coach.
The Indiana.
Yeah, I will say this interesting tidbit about Illinois is their starting quarterback, Luke Altmaier, who actually committed and signed with Ole Miss, was a Florida State commit for about a year and a half. And so that's something Florida State fans can kind of look back at and say, well, what could have been?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, he is one of those guys.
This on ESPN must be the UPI.
Must be the same thing, yeah.
Because and they have Texas Tech at 24.
Yeah.
The Red Raiders?
Yeah, they're saying they're going to be good. They're returning some key pieces, but for me, I looked at, I thought Oregon was the one. That's who I picked out of the top 10 that I thought was going to be, they're going to be the ones. I would swap, honestly. I would swap Oregon with Illinois. I believe Illinois is going to be top 10.
You do realize that Oregon's closest game in the regular season last year, and they went 12, actually 13 if you count the conference championship, was that 1-point win over Ohio State, and they don't play Ohio State this year.
They don't play Ohio State this year, but they lose Dylan Gabriel. Not that I believe in Dylan Gabriel so much, but I do believe in a quarterback being somewhere longer than just 1 year, and rookie or freshman or being their first year. You've been listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. We have some awesome stuff coming tomorrow. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
We're leaving early, and there's an old lady walking with her husband. This kid comes up and starts picking with her and got in her face and then pushed her. So I went right up to him and I said, "Oh, you were like picking on old ladies, huh?" Yeah. And why are you leaving? It's 5.5 minutes left. Nick Saban says you are the type of fans that he doesn't want.
That's right. Were you more mad about the old lady or about them leaving the game early?
Both.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. For tonight, a chance of thunderstorms and partly cloudy skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze coming out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a possibility of thunderstorms and very light rain with temps around 84. In the afternoon and evening, likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles and a temperature near 86. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Is your restaurant looking a little tired from the long off season? Is your office a little offish? Start the new year off right by giving them a fresh start. Fresh Start Cleaning is now accepting new clients. Ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services. Fresh Start Cleaning. Get clean again with Fresh Start. Call 850-771-6917, 771-6917, and ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested. This roster is ready to pop, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
And the first pitch to Acuna, he swings, he drives one. Is this real life? It's a home run by Acuna. 1-0 Braves. Holy smokes!
With some incredible starting pitching and a roster loaded with stars, don't ever count this team out.
Out towards third, backhanded and fouled around by Riley. Long throw. Ho, ho, ho! What a play by Riley!
It's time for the Braves to get things going. Atlanta Braves baseball on the Braves Radio Network is brought to you by the original Louisiana hot sauce. Flavor favors the bold. Your local Ford dealers, proud partner of your Atlanta Braves. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Your local Hyundai dealer, proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. John Foy and Associates Personal Injury Law. Get the strong arm. Arrow Exterminators, make the right call and protect your home or business from pests by calling 888-GO-ARROW. Peachtree Orthopedics, same day evenings and Saturdays. It's time to get better. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of the Atlanta Braves. Yanmar Tractors and Engines, an official partner of the Atlanta Braves grounds crew. Your Atlanta area Lexus dealer. Experience amazing. Simply Sport, the official CBD partner of your Atlanta Braves. TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit TimberTech.com. City of Hope Atlanta, making hope a reality for cancer patients throughout the Southeast. Attorney Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. Xfinity. Get one internet price for 5 years with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Pennington Grass Seed, official partner of the Atlanta Braves grounds crew. ServPro. When disaster strikes, call ServPro to make it like it never even happened. Saya LTL Freight, the official freight and logistics company of the Atlanta Braves. Corona Extra. La Playa awaits. Georgia Power, the official electric energy partner of the Atlanta Braves. IBEW Local 613. Truist Park keeps the lights on with IBEW 613 electricians. The Battery Atlanta's own ASW Distillery, home of the award-winning Fiddler Bourbon. TYM Tractors, a winning lineup. Together as one. Tonight, don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball from Truist Park as Austin Riley and the Braves take on the Milwaukee Brewers. This is Atlanta Braves baseball on the Braves Radio Network, lit by Louisiana Hot Sauce.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into Atlanta Braves baseball. Tonight from Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. It's Game 2 in a series of 3 between the Braves and the Brewers. On the mound for the Braves tonight, southpaw Joey Wentz, and he'll be opposed by right-hander Freddie Peralta. Great to have you with us, alongside the very clean-shaven Joe Simpson and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Yeah, Braves won that series, so you got to shave the goatee.
Yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone. Good riddance. I'm happy that the reason for it went away, too, by winning the series.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now the Brewers in town. Braves lost last night. And watching last night's game, look, not to say that the Brewers can't explode offensively. They certainly can. But they're not a team that hits a ton of home runs. What they do is what they did last night. Good pitching, enough runs, and then turn it over to that electric bullpen.
They got a great bullpen, and they also play good defense. They're kind of in the upper third of the league in defense, but they're fundamentally sound. And we saw last night 2 or 3 guys try to lay down bunts or attempt to put down bunts. They are not a power hitting team, but they know how to play the game right, and they are really a throwback team to a few decades ago, and look at them. They got the best record in baseball.
That's right, and they send Freddie Peralta to the mound tonight. He has 12 wins. That's the most in the National League. I don't know that too many people know that.
No, I wouldn't think so. And he lost his last one to the Cubs, got knocked around a little bit. He's made an adjustment. He's working from the third base side of the rubber, which is a little different for him, and he's able to use his changeup a little better to right-handed hitters. As a result, that's proved to be a big difference maker for him.
Meanwhile, Joey Wentz gets the ball for the Braves, and I think the last go-round for Joey, probably the best he's had in quite some time.
I would think it'd be the best he's ever had as a professional. He was so good in Kansas City. Only gave up 1 hit in 6 1/3 innings, no runs. Unfortunately, he got no run support. Braves lost that game in extra innings, 1-0, but he was terrific, and he had good command of all of his pitches, and he had a good changeup that day.
Yeah, he really did. Look at the carryover into this game tonight against a Brewers team that has the best road record in Major League Baseball. They come in with a road record of 32-24. Obviously need the bats to be a lot louder tonight than they were last night, and obviously the Braves were down. Austin Riley, he's on IL, but got to see another nice night defensively from Nacho.
Yeah, Nacho's playing really well at third base. In the absence of Austin. Can't complain about that, but we can complain, I think, about the lack of offense. Like you said, they only got 3 hits last night, and 1 came from the leadoff hitter, the home run, and 1 came from the 2-hole hitter. So the bottom of the order was a little dry down there.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for a turnaround tonight. When we come back, Joe will introduce you to the starting 9 for both teams, and after that, we'll have the first pitch of the game. Braves and Brewers coming up tonight on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
At the Omni Hotel at the Battery Atlanta, the energy of the game day is right outside your door. As the closest hotel to the gates of Truist Park, you'll feel one with the crowd and on top of the action at the Battery Atlanta during your stay. Whether you're enjoying mouthwatering prime steaks at National Anthem or celebrating life's biggest wins any day of the week. As the official hotel of the Atlanta Braves, Omni Hotel at the Battery Atlanta is more than just a stay. We're your clubhouse where everyone knows your name. Book your stay at omnihotels.com/Battery Atlanta.
Hey, Braves fans! SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the A, meaning SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of... the official ticket marketplace of...
That ball was crushed!
And...
Did you see that?
Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Braves games or to any other live event across Braves country, SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be part of every home team win. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of...
Let's go, Braves!
All the luck you need. Win up to $2 million with the Lucky 7 Scratchers from the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Atlanta Braves baseball on the Gulf Coast is sponsored by Brock Pest Control, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Back out here at the ballpark, time for a look at tonight's starting lineups, powered by Georgia Power, the official electric energy partner of the Atlanta Braves. For the Milwaukee Brewers, best record in baseball, they'll lead it off tonight at third base with Caleb Durbin. William Contreras, the former Brave, is the DH, batting second. Christian Yelich will bat third and play left field. Andrew Vaughn is at first base batting cleanup. Isaac Collins, a switch-hitting rookie, is in right field batting fifth. Batting sixth at second base, Bryce Terang. Blake Perkins is in center field hitting seventh. Batting eighth, doing the catching, newly acquired Danny Jansen. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is Joey Ortiz. Again, for the Brewers, it's Durbin, Contreras, and Yelich. Vaughn, Collins, and Terang, Perkins, Jansen, and Ortiz. For the Atlanta Braves, leading it off, playing left field will be Jurickson Profar. Batting second at first base, Matt Olson. Drake Baldwin will hit third, and he's the DH. Batting cleanup, doing the catching, Sean Murphy. Michael Harris, the second, will bat fifth and play center field. Batting sixth at second base, switch hitting, Ozzie Albies. Eli White is in right field, batting seventh. Batting eighth, playing third base, Nacho Alvarez Jr., and batting ninth, playing shortstop, is Nick Allen. Once more for the Braves, Profar, Olson, and Baldwin, Murphy, Harris, and Albies, White, Alvarez, and Allen. Those are your starting lineups. Come on by and join us. First pitch is right around the corner here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
You know what my favorite thing about Braves games are? Everything. The crowds and the food and the baseballs and the food and the cheering and the food. Kind of like how everything at Cortland's Apartments is my favorite. Hi, I'm Cordy, Cortland's spokespug, here to tell you about the awesome live and play spaces at Cortland and the amazing resident service. That's probably why they were ranked #1 apartment brand on Reputation.com. Cortland, proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. Find your new apartment home at Cortland.com.
When you need a lawyer after an auto accident, don't just choose any legal team. Make the right call with Ken Nugent. Ken is based in Georgia. Other big-name legal teams aren't even from this area. Strike one. Ken gets you your money quick, while other legal teams waste your time. Strike two. Ken and his team are with you from start to finish. Other legal teams pass you off to a secondary team. Strike three. 3 strikes. Those other legal teams are out. One call to Ken. That's all you need. 404-CALL-KEN.
One call, that's all. The original Louisiana brand hot sauce. It's the perfect balance of peppers, vinegar, and the salty tears of Mets fans. That's Louisiana Hot. Buy you some.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
The Atlanta Braves are sponsored by Bill Bird Kia, Best Way Portable Buildings, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Well, it's another cloudy, overcast night here at Truist Park as we get ready for Game 2 of this series between the Braves and the Brewers. And we got room for you tonight. If you're in the area, come on by. First pitch just around the corner, but you might miss the top of the first inning. But come on and join us as we get ready for this second game. Game time temperature a little warmer than last night, but still only 73 degrees. Wind out of the east, 6 to 10 miles an hour. Umpires have met at home plate. They are tonight behind the plate. Malachi Moore, Andy Fletcher's at first base. Jansen Visconti is at second base. And Alec Jones is at third. A reminder, fans, that Tire Discounters Round Tripper Home Run Promotion offer Braves fans a next-day instant savings on set of select tires, plus free alignment, free oil change. The more homers the Braves hit, the bigger the deals at Tire Discounters. Learn more at Braves.tirediscounters.com. Braves took batting practice before the game. The Brewers did not. The Brewers did take some infield practice, and it was quite extensive on the infield work, and it's paying off for them. They're not anywhere close to the Braves, who are first in the National League in defense and the fewest errors, but they are still in the top third in the league. And the Brewers come in with the best record in all of baseball, 68-44, first place in the National League Central, plus 3 games over the Cubs. They've won 4 in a row and 7 out of 10. They are on quite a roll facing this left-hander tonight. They are 22-11 against left-handed starters. The Braves have taken the field defensively, left to right, Profar, Harris, and White in the outfield. First to third on the infield, it's Olson, Albies, Allen, and Nacho. And behind the plate, it will be Sean Murphy and Joey Wentz on the mound, 27 years old, 6'5", 220 out of Kansas City. Former first-round draft pick. He was the 40th pick in the first round, a supplemental pick back in 2016 by the Braves. He's 2-2 with a 5.02 ERA. That ERA is coming down, especially after starts like he had his last time out in Kansas City. Got no decision, but he went 6 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. He's already faced the Brewers twice this year. Once in a Minnesota uni, once in a Pittsburgh uni. And this third time around, well, maybe that's the charm because it's in a Braves uniform. And the first 2, not so good. He'll try to improve on that tonight. But we're ready. He's ready. And so is Ben Ingram.
Thank you, Joe. Tonight's weather looks just like last night. Kind of gloomy and gray clouds as far as the eye can see. 68 degrees. And the Braves and the Brewers about ready to tangle. Braves need to win this to make a series out of it. Brewers won last night 3-1. Only 6 hits between the two teams, where the Brewers got more out of their 3 hits than the Braves got out of theirs, winning 3-1. Folks, cash in on the baseball action with Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the Atlanta Braves. Download Prize Picks, use code BRAVES, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Home plate umpire Malachi Moore back down behind catcher Sean Murphy. Digging in Caleb Durbin. He'll be followed by William Contreras and Christian Yelich. Lefty Wentz is ready. So are the Brewers. Game 2 in this series. And now for the ball game. And the first pitch in there for a called strike, starting at 7:16 Eastern and 6:16 Central.
68 degrees at 7:16.
Joey Wentz, the left-hander from Prairie Village, Kansas, bringing his 0-1 to Caleb Durbin. So Durbin for 2 ABs last night, and he busts his bat, bouncing one out to third. Up with it now, Nacho Alvarez sends it over to first base in time of the out. And Joe, take it away with Gorilla Glue.
And that's another broken bat, Ben. Say that 3 times real fast. Gorilla Glue, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth, the official sponsor of broken bats.
So, for your first time, that's really good.
We need a new one for broken hearts.
Gonna need a lot of Gorilla Glue for that. I'll be practicing that all night. Gorilla Glue. Here's William Contreras. And Contreras takes a ball inside. Time of the first pitch tonight, as I mentioned, 7:16. And that's brought to you by Schumann Farms. Look for Real Sweet Brand Vidalia onions from Schumann Farms in a store near you. 1 down, no score, top of the first inning, and the 1-0 pitch on the way to the former Brave, William Contreras. That'll be popped up towards the Braves dugout, and that'll spin foul into the lower bowl of the stadium. Braves in their home white uniforms tonight. White tops, white pants, red lettering, red numerals, outlined in navy. Braves across the chest on top of the red tomahawk. And the Brewers wearing their navy blue tops, gray pants, gold lettering and numerals, and Milwaukee across the chest of their navy unis. 1-1, low and inside, 2 balls and a strike on Contreras. We're talking about Joey Wentz, and like Joe mentioned, he's been with the Pirates, the Twins, and the Braves this season. As a Brave, 4 appearances, 18 innings, and a 1.50 ERA. Much better numbers in Atlanta. There's the 2-1 pitch. Contreras a check swing. He did go. Good-looking cutter there, 2-2. And altogether, 21 strikeouts compared to 6 walks as a Brave. And, of course, getting much more opportunity, given that he's a starter now compared to coming out of the bullpen or relieving like he did with the Pirates and the Twins. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Shallow right. Eli White looking up into the cloudy sky. Walking in. And now slightly to his right. Makes the catch and 2 down. Up and 2 down. That'll bring Christian Yelich up to the plate.
That wasn't a broken bat, was it?
It was not.
Okay.
That's the unique thing about that Gorilla Glue read. It's not just one and done.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a broken bat, you're going to hear about Gorilla Glue the rest of the season. 2 down for Christian Yelich. Pitch on the way from Wentz. And a ball a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Always liked watching this guy play. Smooth, graceful, can do it all.
Yeah, does a lot of things really well and has for a long time. 1-0 to Yelich. That's fouled off. Didn't see him when we were in that series in Milwaukee earlier this season. Braves did take 2 of 3 against the Brewers in Milwaukee earlier this year, but this is a Brewer team that is really clicking on all cylinders right now. With a win tonight, the Brewers have moved to 28 games over 500, dating back to May 25th. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way to Yelich. That'll be chopped foul. Now the Brewers, with a victory tonight, will move to 28 games over 500 at 44-16, dating back to May 25th. It would be the club's best 60-game stretch in team history if they win tonight. So they've been higher than they've ever been for a 60-game stretch. 1-2 pitch, and Yelich swings and misses, and a curveball takes care of him. Joey Wentz with a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. We'll see if the Braves bats can wake up and make things happen tonight. We'll get a crack at it when we come back. No score to the bottom of the first.
Go ahead, caller. Got a question for Michael Harris II?
Michael, seriously, is that your Ford Bronco?
Yeah, a customized Bronco Raptor.
What do you like about it?
It's a great drive, comfortable, lots of smart tech, and it's ready for just about any adventure. And I look good in it.
No matter where you go to find your next adventure, find it in a smart and rugged Ford Bronco or Bronco Sport SUV. For great offers, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of your Atlanta Braves.
Great teams win with smart plays. Just like great businesses win with Saia LTL Freight. As the exclusive freight and logistics company of the Atlanta Braves, Saia brings nationwide customer-first service that delivers every time. Need to move shipments across the country? Saia covers all the bases, coast to coast, to keep your business running smoothly. Make Saia part of your starting lineup. Visit Saia.com. That's SAIA.com.
Have you ever wondered if there was something special you could put on your food to make it even better? There is, and it's called the original Louisiana brand hot sauce. Perfectly blending zesty peppers, tangy vinegar, and salty salt. The original Louisiana brand hot sauce makes curly fries into curl your toes fries, and every plate of nachos into nacho heck yeah. Only the original Louisiana brand hot sauce is bold enough to be the official hot sauce of the Atlanta Braves. That's Louisiana Hot. Buy you some.
Digging, grading, tilling, and mowing. All in a day's work with Yanmar, the tractor that works as hard as you do. Discover new possibilities at yanmartractor.com.
Braves coming to the plate for the first time. No score into the bottom of the first. It'll be Profar, Olson, and Baldwin taking their first hacks at Freddie Peralta. Right-hander's first pitch is a ball low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Peralta, 29 years old, from the Dominican. 6 feet tall, 200-pound righty. He has had a great season. This is his 24th start. He has a dozen wins. 1-0 pitch, little number down the third base line. Charging in Durbin. Gloves it next to the bag. Off-balance throw and far too late. Jurickson Profar with an infield hit to lead things off at the bottom of the first inning.
What a crack-up. What a difference a night makes, huh?
Yeah, big time.
First pitch swinging on each one of them. One went in the seats, and this one hugged the third baseline.
He was digging it out down the line. And by the time Durbin got leather on it over there by third base, nothing he could do about it. So now Matt Olson up to the plate. Getting his first look at Freddie Peralta. Peralta brings it. Olson swings and misses at a high fastball. Braves hitters will see that fastball, a change, a curve, and a slider. And it's all been working for him this season. He is 12-5 with a 3.08 ERA. 0-1 pitch. Just a little high and outside with a fastball. For Peralta, his 12 wins, the most in the National League, and he's tied with Max Fried and Garrett Crochet for the most across Major League Baseball. And he was an All-Star this season. That'll be fouled back. His second All-Star selection. And like Joe mentioned, that last outing for him took a loss against the Cubs. Went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, and it was his first loss since June 3rd. 1-2 to Olson. That'll be fouled back. So the Brewers have lost his last 2 starts. He had a loss in one of them. And they had won his 7 previous in front of those last 2. 1-2 pitch. Big lunge and a miss by Matt Olson. Curveball struck him out. First of the night for Freddie Peralta. Here's the leather for Milwaukee. Andrew Vaughn is at first base. Bryce Terang, the second baseman. Joey Ortiz is at shortstop. And Caleb Durbin is at third base. In the outfield for Milwaukee, Christian Yelich in left field. Blake Perkins in center. Isaac Collins in right field. Drake Baldwin takes ball low and outside. The catcher is Danny Jansen. And like we mentioned, Freddie Peralta on the mound. No score, bottom of the first inning. Baldwin was 0 for 3 last night, was hit by a pitch. And a little nubber down the third base line again. That hops right over the bag and then skips off the top of the bag for a fair ball. So the Braves wearing out that third base line as they've just had a couple of paper cut base hits. One from Profar, one from Baldwin.
It appeared to be on the same pitch, too, Ben. A curveball, slow curve that the guys are out in front of and just cued off the end of the bat. Thing's a beauty.
A gentle little hop off the bag at third. So now first and second for Sean Murphy. Murphy 0 for 4 last night. So he's due. He's the catcher tonight while Drake is the DH. Sean Murphy takes a ball inside. That fastball missed from Peralta.
Not too many base runners last night for the Braves and already 2 tonight. But the Braves lead the league in men left on base. Let's not let that happen here.
I believe it. 1-0 pitch is in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, for Peralta, his first 11 pitches, 6 strikes, 5 balls, and a couple of slow rollers down the third baseline for base hits. Sean Murphy, 42 RBIs on the season. Base hit right here could rake him in 1. Looking for the early lead in the bottom of the first. 2-0 pitch and a strike on the inside corner with a changeup. You know, you think about Peralta, 12 wins here on the 5th of August, and you see that number and how much time is left in the season. You start to think about being a 20-game winner. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Murphy swings and tips a changeup into the mitt for a strike, 2-2. If he were to win 20 games, he would be the first Brewer in a long time to do so. In fact, the Brewers have had 3 20-game winners in franchise history, and they have not had a single man do it since 1986. There's a ball high, 3-2. Teddy Higuera won 20 in 1986. He's the last Brewer pitcher to win 20. For that, you'd have to go to Mike Caldwell in 1978, who won 22, and Jim Colborn in 1973 won 20. Spinning around and looking back, the runner at second base is Peralta. So that'd be historic for the Brewers if he won 20 games.
Yeah, and I would have guessed Pete Vukovich or Giovanni Gallardo.
3-2, and he swings and misses at a changeup.
He will throw that changeup a lot, even to right-handed hitters. He's working from the side, the third base side of the rubber, as I pointed out. That's a change for him, and it's making his changeup that much more effective. Naturally, he'll throw it to lefties, but even to righties, and it was effective there.
That was a good location with that change. So 2 down for Michael Harris. Been swinging a great bat lately. Check swing, they appeal, and he did go, says Austin Jones. Harris was 0 for 4 last night. Base hit right here could give him an RBI. Profar down at second. Baldwin at first. Batting from the left side, and he swings and misses. 0-2. Peralta's been able to battle back. He had first and second, 1 down, but he struck out Murphy. And quickly ahead of Harris, 0-2.
Last fastball at 95. He can get it up to 97 or so.
0-2, swung on, missed at a top shelf fastball. So Peralta pitches his way through the jam. He strikes out 3 batters in the bottom of the first inning, and the Braves strand a pair. We go to the top of the second inning. No score in Atlanta.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable buildings.
Tell them Buddy sent ya.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
The tradition continues.
The Panhandle's exclusive home for the Atlanta Braves.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
No score into the top of the second inning. Joey Wentz had a 1-2-3 first inning. They'll be facing Vaughn, Collins, and Terang for the Brewers here in the top of the second inning. And the lefty Wentz set right under the chin. Goes to work on Andrew Vaughn. And Vaughn takes ball low and inside. Andrew Vaughn currently has a 10-game hitting streak, 17 for his last 39. That's a .463 average, and power to boot, 4 homers in that span. Been a good pickup for the Brewers, getting him from the White Sox. 1-0 pitch in for a strike, 1-1 on Vaughn.
It's interesting. Those two teams seem to have something going maybe against each other, but certainly acquiring Vaughn is a big pickup, like you said, but there's another part.
Here comes the 1-1. Swung on a miss by Vaughn, 1-2.
When the Brewers acquired Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery from the Diamondbacks to put them on their 40-man roster, they had to take 2 guys off the 40-man roster, and the White Sox claimed both of them. 2 minor leaguers.
How about that? 1-2, got him swinging. Good fastball, elevated in a perfect place. Second strikeout by Wentz and 1 down. Hey, Atlanta, it's the little things we do together that can make a big difference. Atlanta area Chick-fil-A restaurants are teaming up with the Atlanta Braves Foundation on the Home Plate Project to help fight food insecurity for families in need. Show your support by visiting braves.com/homeplate to learn more about food distributions in your area. 1 out for Isaac Collins. And there's a called strike. Collins, another guy who's been heating up, a .281 average. 7 homers. He was named the National League Rookie of the Month for July. And in July, hit .333. 16 RBIs over 26 games gave him that honor. He's out on his front foot, swinging and missing at a curveball. And he leads National League rookies in WAR at 2.5, and he has a .384 on base. That is 7th in the majors amongst players with at least 250 plate appearances. So he's been a difference maker for the Brewers. 28 years old. 0-2 to Collins. Bouncer fouled on the third baseline. Collins came to the Brewers from the Rockies in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft back in December of 2022.
Well, he's making the most of his first opportunity.
A really impressive run for Isaac Collins. 0-2 from Wentz. Struck him out. Made him look funny there with that swing. That was a cutter down and in. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wentz. 3 in the game. That'll bring Bryce Terang to the plate. Folks, only the original Louisiana brand hot sauce is bold enough to be the official hot sauce of the Atlanta Braves. We're putting that on our tacos before the game tonight. It's Louisiana Hot. Buy you some. 2 down for Bryce Terang. He was 1 for 4 last night. He was batting leadoff last night. Left-handed hitter all the way. Takes the first pitch strike. You have a run like the Brewers have had lately. It's one of those situations where you could give a positive statistical nugget for everybody in the lineup. All these guys have been swinging it well. There's a ball low and outside.
Especially after that series in Washington.
Yeah, they blew the doors off the Nationals. Was it 38 runs I think they scored in 3 games?
Something like that.
No score in the second. 1-1 to Terang and a fly ball towards center. Coming in Michael Harris. He is right there. Had a good read on it. Came in, made a chest-high catch, and down they go in order. 6 up and 6 down by Wentz. We go to the bottom of the second. No score.
There's a tidal wave of clean car happiness sweeping across Braves country. Tidal Wave Auto Spa is your go-to car wash destination for a game day ready ride. Experience Major League Clean at Tidal Wave, the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves. Stay clean car happy all season long with membership discounts, exclusive giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for details.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
The official hotel partner of your Atlanta Braves, Omni Hotel at the Battery Atlanta, is more than just a stay. We're your clubhouse, where everyone knows your name. Book your stay at omnihotels.com/Battery Atlanta.
Glad to have you with us tonight. Second game of this series, Braves and Brewers from Truist Park in Atlanta. No score. Ozzie Albies leads off, takes the first pitch strike from Freddie Peralta. Alongside Joe Simpson and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Overcast skies and breezy here in Atlanta. Flags blowing across the outfield left to right. There's a ball low. I just couldn't get used to the weather last night. I'm still having a difficult time with it tonight, just given today's date. And it being the first week of August. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And Ozzie hits a high, lazy fly ball to center. Blake Perkins under it. Backpedaling, makes the catch, one away. I was chatting with some of the Brewers broadcasters prior to the game. And they were thinking, man, when we go to Atlanta in August, it's going to be 101 degrees at first pitch. Nowhere near. What was it, 68 tonight?
Yeah, I actually reported 73, which I had looked up about 30 minutes ago. And it had dropped even from there down to 68.
One out for Eli White. And Eli takes a ball high. By the way, it's the Toyota Stolen Base Challenge inning. And if the Braves steal a base this inning, our contestant tonight, Audrey Fowler, will win $450 in free marathon gas cards. Eli'd be a good one to get on base. 1-0, sent foul, arcing its way towards the seats down the right field line. And that's out of play. You can enter the Toyota Stolen Base Challenge, and all you have to do is visit Braves.com/Stolen Base Challenge. Eli 0 for 4 last night. Waiting on the 1-1 from Peralta. Righty fires, missed inside with a fastball at 94. Eli just a shade under 250 with the average, right at 249. Well, the 2-1 pitch, sent foul. That'll land in the second deck down the right field line. Right-hander Peralta. Set right at the belt. Kicks and brings it 2-2. Fought off foul by Eli. That fastball, it's 93-94. Man, he gets on you quickly.
And he went upstairs to get some strikeouts last inning, especially those last couple of pitches to Michael Harris.
He locates well. 2-2 pitch. Missed outside with a curveball. That's a tough pitch to lay off of with 2 strikes. But Eli's able to do that. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch, and White sends one foul. This is the 9th time in Peralta's career he's seen the Braves. And while his .458 career ERA versus Atlanta is nothing to brag about, he does have a 4-2 record versus Atlanta. And he's always a tough one to draw. Again, the 3-2. Fouled off again. Good battle here by Eli White. Right-hander Peralta. Long, frizzy hair flipping out of the back of his Navy cap. Looking into his target, Danny Jansen. Again, the 3-2. White fouls one back again.
All fastballs. Getting a piece of it.
Has some good swings lately, especially those 2 homers in Bristol. This will be the 10th pitch of the battle between Peralta and White. Here it comes. Guess what? Fouled off. That was a curveball.
Hey, you and Darren hit a couple of homers in Bristol too, man. You and Darren O'Day look great for the Speedway special out there.
Uh-huh. We'd been thinking about it for a long time, but when the day finally came to put on the costumes, his room was right next to mine. Here's pitch number 11. And White pops one up, shallow right field. Vaughn and Terang back. Second baseman Terang makes the catch on the foul line, about 30 feet back of the infield. And I'm texting Darren, because obviously you know it's going to be fun, but there's still that trepidation of, okay, am I really about to walk outside looking like this? And I said, text me when you're ready to go to the bus, because everywhere I go today, you got to be with me. We got to go together.
Well, it looked great.
Yeah, that was fun. Nacho Alvarez takes a ball low. Tell you what, I like that Richard Petty STP jacket so much, I might have to break that thing out a few more times.
You might have to tomorrow.
Yeah. 1-0 to Alvarez. In for a strike, 1-1. Like I mentioned earlier, Austin Riley on the IL with an abdominal strain, so Nacho in there at third base. 22 years old. 1-1 lifted in the air, foul ground. Andrew Vaughn to the railing of the Braves dugout, and that lands 3 rows back of the Braves dugout. Nacho still looking for his first career RBI. And if you count last season, 17 big league games, 10 for 63. Sitting 212 this year. No homers, no RBIs. 1-2, he goes after a slider that was breaking away from him and missed every stitch of it. So Peralta with a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. He has 4 strikeouts. We go to the top of the third, no score.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Hartz Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable buildings.
Tell them Buddy sent ya. Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Austin Riley with a 2-run home run to dead center.
Only in 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Brewers nothing, Braves nothing. As the rain starts to fall from the sky here going into the top of the third inning, it'll be 7-8-9 up for Milwaukee. We just cannot shake this rain. Doesn't matter where we go. It's been following us. And the rain coming down right now, but it's light. Not heavy enough for lots of folks to go running for cover yet. Hopefully it stays light. Here's Blake Perkins. Perkins 0 for 4 last night. Infield in at the corners, and Perkins takes a ball inside. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Get one consistent internet price for the next 5 years. No contracts, no curveballs. No score, top of the third. There's the 1-0 pitch from Wentz to Perkins. Lefty fires, and there's a called strike. Brewers are managed by Pat Murphy. He's been their manager since last year, or in the Brewers case, you might call him the head brewmaster. There's the 1-1 pitch.
I like that.
Wentz brings it. Hot shot through the left side, base hit. Just past Nacho Alvarez, who went lunging left, and it was out of his reach. And Blake Perkins with a leadoff single.
Yeah, but you know what they did last night paid dividends for Perkins tonight. They showed bunt, or in some cases put a bunt down, So to respect that, Nacho has to play in case he tries to bunt. He's in on the grass, or at the edge of the grass, and Perkins pulls one right past him.
First base runner of the game of the Brewers. Here's Danny Jansen. And Jansen takes a ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. No runs, 1 hit for the Brewers. No runs, 2 hits for the Braves. Pitching for both teams has been good right out of the chute tonight. Wentz deals. Jansen takes a strike. Telling you about Pat Murphy. This guy was a coach on the staff there with the Brewers from 16 through 23 when Craig Counsell was the manager. And when Craig Counsell was a player in college at Notre Dame, Pat Murphy was his college coach. And then he brought Murphy on staff. There's a pickoff over to first base. And back on the dive is Perkins. So when Counsell took the job with the Cubs, Brewers promoted Murphy to manager. And he's coached and managed all over the place. Here's the 1-1. And Jansen, it's a bottle rocket. Shallow right field. Fighting the falling rain, Eli White staggers to his right, makes the catch. And one down here in the top of the 3rd inning. In fact, Murphy, believe it or not, served as not only the head baseball coach, but also the assistant football coach for Maryville College. That was back in the early 80s.
Wow.
And then he was hired as a head baseball coach and assistant football coach for Claremont Mudscript Stags. And then went from there to Notre Dame. You want to talk about hitting every rung of the ladder. And then Notre Dame to Arizona State, then to the Padres, then the Brewers. Pitch to Joey Ortiz, and there's a ball high. And Murphy was doing a lot of winning in college. He became the youngest collegiate coach to reach 500 career victories. That was in '98 when he was coaching at Notre Dame. There's the 0-1 to Ortiz. Runner goes, pitches a ball, throw down to second base, and a one-hop throw is a little bit too late for Perkins. It's a Brewers team that loves to run, and Blake Perkins with the steal.
Yeah, they're first in the National League in stolen bases to go with number 1 in average, number 1 in on-base percentage, and 3rd in runs scored.
Runner in scoring position, 1 out for Joey Ortiz. Ortiz, right-handed batter. There's the 1-1. A little bit low. Thinking back on the last time the Braves saw the Brewers, as that was back in June. We went there right after a series in San Francisco. And there was a pivotal moment early in Game 1 that deterred the Brewers from running the rest of the series. 2-1 and a called strike. Jackson Churio in the bottom of the 1st inning in the first game of that series led off the 1st inning with a single. He then attempted to steal, and Drake Baldwin threw him out. And it's as if it forced the Brewers to completely abandon their normal game plan of running a lot. 2-2 pitch to Ortiz. Ground ball to the left side, deep in the hole. Allen backhands, throws his 3rd, and they can't quite backpick the runner. He had no shot to go to first base, and Perkins was taking a pretty big turnaround 3rd, so Allen heads up, tried to backpick him at 3rd base. But Perkins could smell a rat, and he got back to 3rd base quickly.
Smart play, at least on the attempt by Nick. He had no play at first base. He was too far out.
So runners at the corners, 1 out, back to the top of the order to Caleb Durbin. Durbin takes a ball high. But finishing that thought, I really found it fascinating how that backfired on the Brewers in the 1st inning of Game 1. And it's like they weren't the same team after that.
It's kind of a good way to shut that down. Let them know right away.
Yeah, Drake did a great job of that in that game. 1-0 pitch low and inside, and the Braves ended up winning the series. Two 2-0 on Caleb Durbin. He hit a ground ball to 3rd base back in the 1st inning. Does that here, you could have an inning-ending double play. Wentz is 2-0. Low and inside with a cutter, 3-0. No score, top of the 3rd inning. Braves and Brewers here in Atlanta. Wentz spins it up there and missed inside with a fastball. First walk he's allowed. That loads the bases, and he went 6 up and 6 down to begin the game. But a couple of singles from the bottom of the order, now a walk to the leadoff man. Durbin at first, Ortiz at second, Perkins is at third. In the hands of the former Brave William Contreras.
That start in Kansas City, he never allowed 2 runners on base in the same inning.
This Brewer team batting .285 with runners in scoring position. First pitch to Contreras. And he'll swing and hit a fly ball to shallow right. Coming in Eli White. Medium depth, makes the catch. Perkins tags at third. Throw comes in. Runner holds. That's a big out right there against a big bat in Contreras.
I love his impatience. Bases loaded, 1 out. He went after the first pitch and got jammed.
I'm going to guess that's not what they normally do. I just gave you that number, how they hit .285 as a team with runners in scoring position. Second best average in baseball in that department. You don't do that by being impatient.
No, you don't. They're very selective. They don't strike out a lot.
2 down for Christian Yelich. Yelich struck out in the first inning. Wentz surrounded by Brewers. First pitch went to a curveball for a strike. Yelich takes his right hand, runs it along the bill of his helmet, and wipes some of that rain that was dripping away. Wentz cuts it loose. Gets a swing and a miss on another curveball. And now he's 1 good pitch away from getting through this jam without any trouble. The bases are loaded, 2 down, but an 0-2 count on Yelich. And Wentz looking to strike out, one of the biggest hitters in their lineup for the second time of the game. Ready with the 0-2. Here it comes. And miss low with a curve. Not a bad idea. Probably wouldn't mind spinning another one up there again.
Yeah, the second one he threw him was inside. Normally, lefties don't do that to a left-handed hitter, but let's see if he tries it again. If he does, don't leave it hanging there.
1-2. Yelich with a tapper. Going to be a tough play. Ozzie darts in. Glove toss goes awry. Run comes across for the Brewers. It's 1-0 Milwaukee. Just a very soft tapper to the first base side of the mound. Wentz couldn't get there. And Ozzie came in and tried to just scoop it and glove toss to Matt Olson. When he did, it just popped up into the air right out of his glove. And Olson had to come off the bag just to get it.
Yeah, that's the only chance Ozzie had. And a little payback for the Braves' first 2 hits that were infield hits in the first inning.
RBI number 74 this season for Yelich. Here's Andrew Vaughn. Dangerous hitter. First pitch swinging, missed the fastball. Wentz struck out Vaughn in the second inning, did it with high fastballs, and that's what he started him with right there. One nothing Brewers. Top of the third. Bases loaded. 2 down. 0-1 fouled back. 0-2 again. We mentioned that Vaughn has a 10-game hit streak into the action tonight.
Definitely their hottest hitter.
See if Wentz elevates another fastball. Ahead 0-2. And he spins it up there. Went with a high heater, and that's fouled back.
He was able to do that in Kansas City with that elevated fastball and get some strikeouts because his command of everything else was down low, at the knees or below. And then when he elevated it, they could see it better, but they couldn't catch up to it.
Again his 0-2 pitch. And he missed low with a curve. 1-2 on Andrew Vaughn. Inning started with a single by Perkins, then a fly out by Jansen. Ortiz singled. Durbin walked. Then an infield single by Yelich drove in a run. Wentz a long pause and the 1-2. And he came inside and missed Durbin, but it goes to the backstop. Everyone moves up one station. It's now 2-0 in favor of Milwaukee. I thought he might have grazed him. But it missed Durbin and goes to the backstop, and a very wild pitch drives in a run.
It might be a pass ball, Ben. I'm not sure. Although Murphy did have to reach. It is a wild pitch. Murphy had to reach way inside, as you said.
Two runs for the Brewers, an infield single, and a wild pitch. Wentz's 2-2. Fouled back. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Braves Radio Network.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Vaughn. 2 down. Runners at second and third. Wentz with his 49th pitch of the game. Lefty fires. And fouled off again over by the Brewers dugout. 2-2 on Vaughn, and he's got his sleeves rolled up, trying to put up a fight right here. Vaughn waving the bat over the plate, now steadies the bat behind his right ear. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off the left foot of Vaughn. That's pretty painful. He'll stagger around down there, try to get that pain out of the foot, but still a 2-2 count on Vaughn. Top of the third, 50 pitches for Wentz. Could this be the one that puts away the Brewers here in the third inning? 2-2 pitch. And he'll pop one up, spinning back and foul. Do it again with a 2-2 count. That was the 9th pitch of the battle. Well, this will be number 10 coming up. This next pitch will be the 30th pitch this inning from Wentz. Had a 1-2-3 first, had a 1-2-3 second. And he has run into some trouble here in the third. Again, the 2-2 pitch, and that bounced up there. Curveball knocked down by Murphy. I'm wondering if the conditions have caused the wildness with a curveball here lately.
Could be. Looks kind of like it's let up a little bit, but still drizzling.
If he walks him, it would be Collins' turn. Here's the payoff pitch. Vaughn sends one foul. That lands in the second deck down the first baseline. It's 2-0 Milwaukee. And they had the bases loaded, 2 down, scoreless game, and Yelich had an 0-2 count. But he made weak contact, little bouncer out there towards second base. He drove in a run on that infield single, then a wild pitch scored another run. 3-2 pitch in the air to left field, down for a base hit. One run is in. Here comes another. Yelich around third. Throw comes to the plate. It's late. And it's a 2 RBI single from Andrew Vaughn. That was the 12th pitch of the battle. And he solves Wentz to drive in his 44th and 45th RBIs of the season. And it's a 4-run inning for Milwaukee. You certainly hate that if you're Wentz, but what really drives him crazy is the fact that on a couple of different occasions he was one good pitch away from getting to the jam, and neither time could he close the door.
Well, and the wild pitch scored a run, and that allowed the other 2 guys to move into scoring position. And give Yelich some credit. He cut that corner at third base really hard, and with a shallow, short throw from Profar, he still scored. Vaughn stays hot. That was quite an at-bat.
Well, he's got an 11-game hitting streak, and those are the kind of at-bats that you're having when you've hit in 11 straight. He fouled off some really tough pitches, then finally wins with that looping liner into left field.
Well, with Rhys Hoskins out, the normal first baseman with a thumb injury, I'm not sure when he's going to be back. Vaughn is filling in nicely.
2 down for Collins. 4-0 Brewers. Collins takes a first pitch strike. That fastball touched the outside corner. Wentz had a 1-2-3 first and a 1-2-3 second. And then here in the third inning, completely different fortune for him. This is the 8th Brewer to the plate in the third inning. 0-1 fouled off and another 0-2 count. Isaac Collins over 1 with a strikeout. And it was Collins who hit the 3-run homer last night to provide the Brewers with the only 3 runs they would score last night. They didn't need any more than that as they won 3-1. 0-2, whacked in the air to deep right field. Eli White back to the warning track. Has room, makes the catch. But 8 Brewers come to the plate. Half of them score as they collect 4 runs off of 4 hits, a walk, a wild pitch as well. As we head to the bottom of the third inning, it's 4-0 Brewers.
Swing into action this baseball season with Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the Atlanta Braves. The app is simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code BRAVES to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code BRAVES on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Engineers and planners, do you have a project that needs a cultural resource assessment? This is Howard Sears, Senior Archaeologist with Wiregrass Archaeology. We're based in Mobile, Alabama, with an office here in Atlanta. Since 2007, our professional team has handled all types of cultural resource projects across the Southeast. We also offer ground-penetrating radar services and high-quality aerial imagery. Learn more by visiting diggingintothepast.com. That's diggingintothepast.com.
Want to earn a deal on the entire Toyota lineup at the national sales event? Then do as I say. Great job. You just earned a deal. Get $500 in bonus lease cash on a new 2025 Toyota Tacoma. Offer valid through September 2nd, 2025. Offer entitles $500 bonus lease cash on the lease of a new and untitled 2025 Toyota Tacoma vehicle. Bonus cash may be used only toward down payment or capitalized cost reduction on the new vehicle. See dealer for details.
The original Louisiana brand hot sauce. It's the perfect balance of peppers, vinegar, and the salty tears of Mets fans. That's Louisiana hot. Buy you some.
Nothing Brewers as the Braves come to the plate in the bottom of the third inning. Leading it off, Nick Allen. And Nick sees the first pitch strike. Great to have you with us tonight. Unfortunately, the Brewers have the early 4-0 lead. Alongside Joe Simpson and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you on a wet night in Atlanta. 0-1, that'll be swung on, missed. 0-2. Allen 0 for 2 last night. Has the average at 225. He calls time, adjusts his batting gloves, and digs back in. Freddie Peralta has 4 strikeouts. And Allen's at bat would finish his first trip through the order. Is 0-2. Fouled off into the seats down the right field line. Well, school back in session for lots of kids out there. Sure, there's still some kids here at the ballpark tonight. Wishing they could just stay here all night. Not even go back to school tomorrow. 0-2 bounced up there, 1-2.
I know that would be my plan.
Yeah. How can I run away? Just stay in the ballpark. Yeah, there's lots of schools that have started here over the last week. Some more that will be starting next week. So good luck this year and whatever grade you're going into if you're tuned in out there. There's the 1-2 pitch on the way to Nick Allen. Allen takes a ball high.
If you had your choice to go back into a grade, say, under the ninth, from the 9th grade and down, what would you pick?
Ooh, that's a really good question. 2-2 line shot, but caught by first baseman Andrew Vaughn. So 1 out here in the third inning. Well, my favorite teacher was my 3rd grade teacher.
What was her name?
Miss Smith.
Okay.
She was great. She believed in me. That's the first teacher I remember who it's like she knew I could do whatever I wanted to do. She made you feel that way.
She knew you could spell?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Which is, for 3rd grade in Mississippi, is very advanced. 0-1 on Profar. Yeah, that was a good year. But I think that the year I would choose, here's the 0-1 pitch. Not a miss. I think it'd take 7th grade. 7th grade was a lot of fun.
7th grade can be pretty tough unless your school is divided into middle schools of 6th, 7th, and 8th, say, where you're already in middle school.
Right. 1-1, check swing. The appeal, he didn't go. 2-1. I'll tell you what, you want to grow up fast? They had 1st through 8th grade when I was growing up on the same bus.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I learned some stuff in elementary school I never should have learned. Here's a 2-1 pitch. There's a ball inside, 3-1.
But at least it serves you well now so that you know where to sit.
Yeah, exactly. There's no doubt about that. Learned at an early age where to sit on the bus. 3-1 on Profar. 4-0 Brewers. Profar takes ball 4 high. And a 1-out walk. Second time he's been on base in the game. What grade would you choose?
8th or 9th. And I think it'd be 9th grade because I was living in this small town in Oklahoma, and in basketball season, I was playing on both the junior high and the high school team. I was playing basketball games 4 nights a week.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome.
I bet it was. 1 out for Matt Olson, and he takes a strike. They had a lot of good teachers, and thinking back on being back in school. You know, it's funny, that was the day that I dreaded, but looking back on it, I mean, school was a lot of fun. Outside of the homework part, here's the 0-1 pitch. Olson swings and misses. I always got in trouble for talking a lot, if you can believe that.
Really?
It's no wonder I ended up in this industry.
Right. Come to think of it, my elementary school teacher's 3rd grade, Mrs. Richardson, was my favorite, too.
Up 2 to Olson. That'll miss high.
And then did you ever run into your teacher in the grocery store, someplace out of place, away from the school, and be embarrassed as heck? Because it's like you weren't supposed to see her in any place but in the classroom.
Right, exactly. As if she just lived there. 1-2 is high, 2-2. When you were in school, how did they discipline you? Did you get paddled? How did that go back then?
Yeah, once I got to junior high, 8th grade up.
Right.
Wooden paddles.
Yeah. 2 to Olson, misses low. Because I feel like I was at maybe the last era of paddled kids.
Well, I got hit so hard one day by my coach that I lifted my feet off the ground. And I deserved it.
Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way to Matt Olson. Olson lifts one towards foul territory, 3rd base side. A trio of Brewers are there, and that lands in the camera well this side of the Brewers dugout. What did you do to deserve the paddling?
Oh, I did something to another kid that I shouldn't have.
Gave him a wedgie?
Well, it is worse than that, but I shouldn't have done that.
Well, you served your punishment.
Oh boy, did I ever!
You got the paddle.
I stood up for a long time.
Pick off over to first base, back with a dive Profar. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Runner at first, 1 down. It's 4-0 Milwaukee. Wouldn't mind Olson paddling this one into the chop house.
Yeah.
Profar, big lead at first base. Not going. 3-2, low and outside. And back-to-back walks, so the Braves have something going. Drake Baldwin had a base hit back in the 1st inning. A little bouncer off the bag at 3rd. It'll look like a screamer in the box score, but he's just looking for any kind of base hit right here. See if he could drive in Profar, get the Braves on the board. Got to make him pay for back-to-back walks. Profar at first. Profar at second. Olsen at first. And a first pitch changeup swung on and missed. That's been the great equalizer pitch for Peralta in this game. I feel like any time he's gotten into any kind of trouble, he can throw that changeup and get a swing and miss.
It's a beauty.
His 56th pitch of the game, missed low and outside with a changeup. Count even at 1. Pause by Peralta. 1-1 to Baldwin. Went upstairs with a fastball check swing, and he definitely went. And 1-2 on Drake. After Drake Baldwin, it'll be Sean Murphy. One, two, ground ball to third base, taken by Durbin to second. There's one, and now dropped by Bryce Terang, but second base umpire Jansen Visconti said he dropped it on the exchange and that the out will be recorded. So Olsen is out. It's a fielder's choice for Baldwin. Now that's a 5-4 putout of Matt Olsen out at second base.
I think that one was fairly obvious. He scooped the ball up out of the dirt on a short hop. His throwing hand wasn't even anywhere near the glove, and then it rolled out as he reached for it.
So they get the out at second. Now it's up to Sean Murphy. Struck out back in the first inning. First and third, 2 down. Trying to crack the scoreboard for the first time versus Freddie Peralta. Murphy swings and misses at a first pitch changeup. And that's the pitch that had him back in the first inning. The inning started with a line out by Allen and back-to-back walks and then a fielder's choice. 0-1 to Murphy. Missed upstairs with a fastball. Good eye. Under the lights here in Atlanta. Gray and gloomy. Been a little rainy as well. Gloomy on the scoreboard, too. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way to Sean Murphy. And he swings and fouls back a fastball. And suddenly the Braves down to their final swing here in the third inning. Peralta, deep breath, exhales. He's at 61 pitches. And now time called. Last night, Murphy just missed getting one out of here late in the game. Would have been a 3-run homer, but hit one to the warning track. 1-2, and he hits one deep to left field. Drifting back Yelich, backpedaling, shy of the warning track, makes the catch. Just missed that one. It was a curveball that he got some wood on, but couldn't drive it hard enough. So the Braves get a couple of walks, but nothing beyond that. We go to the top of the fourth inning, 4-0 Brewers.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
At Broad Lawn and Pest Control, we're proud to be awarded the distinction of being Quality Pro certified.
Our technicians have passed rigorous training in eco-friendly application and prevention of pest treatments.
Part of the program is the practice of integrated pest management.
IPM's goal is to prevent pests from ever entering your home. It includes inspection, prevention, education, and, when necessary, application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored locally by Bill Berg Kia, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Alongside Joe Simpson and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you. It's a 4-0 lead for the Brewers as we head to the top of the fourth inning. This is the Tidal Wave Auto Spy inning. Tidal Wave is making Braves country clean car country all season long. If the Braves pitch a scoreless fourth inning tonight, Tidal Wave will offer half off the Best Wash membership tomorrow. Learn more at TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves. Bryce Terang leading off for the Brewers. Terang 0-for-1 with a fly out to center field. 275 hitter. Rock solid second baseman. And Terang